All right, hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Pokemon Speedruns podcast. I kind of forgot my line, and joining me is Crafted.
Hello.
And Scoa.
Hi.
And then we've got a mini invasion of the US folk. Say hello to Eddaket.
Hello.
And Keys, who has muted his mic.
I'm esports.
You're esports. Noble Keys. My apologies. So this is going to be mostly a Let's Go special, which is why I've invited these two nutters on. So yeah, I think we'll go straight into
Crafted.
What? No. We know Craft is a robot. He's not a nutter.
Oh, you're right.
Alright, so I'm going to pop this up. This is the current world record for Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, set yesterday? Question mark by Oro.
Yes.
And this one kind of came out of nowhere.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass this one over to Eddaket and Keys to let them run through the developments, because this game's been out for 2 weeks.
So right off the bat, before we go into anything else, I just want to say this is actually a co-op record because I'm heavily featured in his video.
Just going to claim that then.
Yep. He's got to deal with it, or I'm never commissioning him for emotes again.
Is that a plug? Are we plugging Oro for emote?
Yes, not only is he a world record holding Pokemon runner, but he's also really fantastic at doing emotes, panels, stream layouts, and more. You should check him out. Orlin.something. I don't know. Oro, you're in chat.
This when are you paying that sponsorship money, Oro? You're heavily featured on the podcast this week.
Nice. I was hoping that was going to happen. Oro posts the link and gets.
Why has it done that? Hello?
I was really hoping that was going to happen.
Damn it.
Oh, man. This is
My
the
bot
greatest
sucks.
podcast.
Alright. I guess we should probably talk about the actual run.
Yeah, probably. Were you actually doing day 1, or did you start day 2, Eddaket? I can't remember.
I did day 1.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was the big thing right off the bat that we learned is really before the game was actually released, because the data mine was every gym has a requirement to be able to enter it. And some of those requirements are worse than others. The two big ones that affected the speedrun were in order to enter Koga's gym, you have to catch 50 Pokemon, which is why you'll notice at the bottom of Oro's screen there's the little Pokedex counter keeping track of all of his catches. You have to get 50 Pokemon registered in the Dex in order to be able to even enter Koga's gym. The other big one that was a bit of a hiccup when the run was first developing, but no longer is anymore, was in order to enter Sabrina's gym, you needed a level 45 Pokemon. Which, if you know Gen 1, being level 45 for Sabrina is not too bad. In this game, experience works in a completely different way.
Yeah, it definitely limited what we could possibly think of to run. I know when I initially first started playing it, people kept pointing out in chat like, hey, start cycling wild Pokemon because their levels actually go up a little bit. So after playing it for a little while and ignoring the whole Zapdos fiasco, because Zapdos is butt in this game, and looking into more of the mechanics, a lot of different runners in PSR pointed out, hey, if you use lures, then you'll max out the level of a certain Pokemon. So, then different strats began to develop. I started working on Kabutops because the fossils came at level 44, which is just nutty. And then using lures in certain areas, you could get Pokemon as high as level 42 and 43 and stuff. So Sabrina's requirement was something that we solved pretty quickly. It just became a case of which route is faster, which route has less annoyance, which route has less variance, so on and so forth. Koga will always be a problem, though, until we find some glitches.
Yeah. And you'll also notice he's fighting Surge now, and you'll look at his last split and it was Blaine. The badges in this game, they really did a good job making it not super linear. You can do badges 3 through 7 in whatever order you want. There's no badge requirements to use the secret techniques. So there's no more HMs. They're now secret techniques. No badge requirements for those. So you can fly or sky dash, as the game calls it, without beating Surge. You can sea skim, which is surf, without beating Koga. So it really opens us up to do things like catch a Starmie, which is the current fastest route. Catch a Starmie before doing, 6 of the gyms. And it's a level 43 Starmie at that. So, yeah. And
level 43 before, so you've only got 2 badges at that point.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, basically the only requirement to open up the game is to get the Poke Flute. Once you have the Poke Flute, you can get down to Fuchsia City, and you can just go wherever you want at that point.
The whole concept in general is kind of interesting to think about, because one, it kind of expands how open Gen 1 actually was. The biggest thing that was walling you from going into places in Gen 1 was Koga's badge, because Surf is really important to advance everywhere. But with Gen 1, you could technically do 3 badges before most of the map is open to you. Like you'd have to do Brock, unless you did Brock through walls and glitch. You'd have to do Misty because you need Cut to advance, and then from there you could go to Koga. You don't need Fly from Surge, and after beating Koga, you could surf around in that Cut tree. So this is kind of a neat little callback that Surf is that important, but it also shows more openness because you don't need to get Koga's badge, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of the run, you're really focused. I mean, like, the fights are important. Obviously you have to have good strats for all the fights, and we'll get into that a little bit, like where the fight luck really is necessary. But most of the run is trying to maintain your catches, trying to keep up, make sure you have enough Pokemon, make sure you're evolving the right ones. That's been a huge thing recently, is which Pokemon do you evolve, because the game doesn't have experience share, but it just basically acts like it's always on. You can't turn it off. So everything that's in your party will be gaining levels. So initially you think about that and you're like, okay, I just caught a Rattata on Route 1 and it's level 5. If I leave it in my party, it will evolve at level 20 and I don't have to worry about actually using it in battle. It will just evolve naturally. Turns out, as this is like the most recent development, is that's pretty slow. Every time a Pokemon levels up in your party, it's like 2 seconds for the little jingle. They have to learn moves. And so really what we're trying to do now is make sure you catch the things that either need 1 level to evolve, sometimes 2 levels to evolve, and really just take everyone else out of your party.
It sounds very similar to the kind of routing that goes into Fire Red Round 2. So that's very much like optimizing catching Pokemon that are almost ready to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. And things like the Nidorans are great examples. So you can get a Nidoran that's 1 level away from evolving into a Nidorino, and then if you have a Moonstone that you picked up in Mount Moon, you can evolve it right away. So like catching a Nidoran, if you have a spare Moonstone, is essentially 3 Pokemon for 1. And the other thing that sort of makes this a bit different than Round 2, a lot of people like to draw that parallel, which I think is a good one, but it's really sort of important in this one, is you have to... The Pokemon that you're catching aren't always Pokemon you need. For example, we said earlier, you gain experience from getting catches. Or actually, we didn't say that. Spoiler.
Surprise.
You get you get experience for doing catches, and you get more experience for catching a Pokemon than you do for defeating a Pokemon in battle. So
and to kind of emphasize that a little more, you get more experience from catching the Snorlax that's blocking your way than you do beating any Pokemon in the first round of the Elite Four. That's how completely weighted the catches are compared to just fighting.
Yeah. And so we can do things like, I haven't actually tried it because it would be a little absurd, but if you didn't catch a single Pokemon, if the game let us not catch anything throughout the entirety of the game, and we could do Koga's gym without catching anything, the Eevee would probably be like level 23 or something by the time you get to Koga. Like, you are so under leveled throughout this game if all you do is fight trainers. So we need to catch things to get experience, and there are different bonuses related to those catches that give you more experience. There's all these different multipliers. You get a multiplier if you catch the Pokemon in the first ball. You get a different multiplier if the Pokemon is tiny or huge, which is a weird concept in the game. It doesn't actually affect the Pokemon at all. It just gives you more experience.
That's a tie-in to the regular Pokemon Go, though, isn't it? They have that feature there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then to further emphasize the small and the large Pokemon, there's also extra small and extra large Pokemon that you can't really tell that they're extra small or extra large until after you get the catch bonus.
Yeah, and you'll catch a Geodude in Mount Moon and all of a sudden get 400 extra experience, and you're like, where did that come from? But yeah, and there's also a bonus for doing catch combos, which is catching the same Pokemon in a row. So if I'm going through Mount Moon and I see 2 glowing Geodudes, meaning they're either tiny or huge, I can catch one, I can catch the next one, I'll get more experience for the second one. And depending on your circumstances, that may actually be useful. You may actually want to do that, which might seem counterproductive. Why are you wasting time catching something you already have? But it really just goes to show how crucial the experience is in this game and how unforgiving it can be, especially when you get to the mid game when you're entering Rock Tunnel and then doing the whole Rocket Hideout segment.
And speaking of Rock Tunnel, one of the big time saves I noticed in Oro's run is that he jumps from about a minute ahead to 6 or 7 minutes ahead, just between whatever the split is before in Rock Tunnel.
Yeah, so the Rock Tunnel segment is probably the most volatile segment in these Let's Go runs, because a lot of really valuable and important catches can. So basically, anytime between SSN and the end of Rock Tunnel, you can go up anywhere between like 5 to 20 Pokemon, just depending on like what's available. As mentioned, for optimal catching, we're looking at delaying a bunch of stuff, so we don't catch, level 5 Spearow. We'll catch a level 21 or whatever the actual level is. That way we can just level it up once and get Fearow. But depending on what your experience route is like and how confident you're feeling in your catches, or how behind you are and how much you need to do, big plays to try and catch up, you could have a segment where you get the basic stuff like Rhyhorn and Graveler and Machop. Or you can have a segment where you get both Nidorans, run into the bigger Nidorans, run into Spearow and Fearow, run into Krabby, run into Chansey, run into Kangaskhan, run into Graveler, run into Golbat, run into all of this stuff. You can run into Charmander. Like, it's such a volatile and variable section. So there's a lot of times where you get to that and it's like, oh, well, I'm 4 minutes ahead, but my catch luck really wasn't that good because I didn't really catch that much. Or, oh, I'm 2 minutes behind, but that's a fake behind because I'm actually like 6 Pokemon ahead. Like, it's awful split.
Yeah, and the other thing that, because we're running Eevee, and we can talk a little bit about the differences between Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu in a little bit, but because we're doing Let's Go Eevee, we need to get a Rhyhorn in Rock Tunnel. If you don't get specifically a Rhyhorn in Rock Tunnel, you lose time because the bike isn't in this game. There's no bike shop, there's no shady salesman or anything like that. You can ride Pokemon like you can see Oro doing right now.
How'd you get instant text then?
All right, it's Gen 7. Everything is instant text.
He sounded really hurt by that. All right.
Wow.
Bye forever.
Crafted just got kicked. Anyways, so we need that ride Pokemon, and different ride Pokemon have different speeds. A Pokemon like a Rapidash or an Arcanine or an Aerodactyl, they're going to be a lot faster than a Pokemon like a Rhyhorn is, but Rhyhorn is like the earliest decent speed Pokemon that you can get. You could technically get an Onix in Mount Moon, but Onix moves.
Did Eddaket just die? Did everybody just die? Okay. Hi chat, it's Amoeba. I'm just gonna chill out with you guys for like 2 seconds until Discord unscrews itself. I'm gonna presume Eddaket was talking about Onyx not being that fast and a difficult catch. Wow, this is unusual. Everybody's gone. Hello. At anyone, please respond. Okay. So I'm really gonna have to bullshit this because I don't even own a Switch. But while the people in the knowledge are dead, I'm just going to run through the order of records because this game's been out for about 2 weeks, and the record, obviously day one speedruns in quotes, questionable. I can't disconnect. It won't let me reconnect. Yeah, anyway, day one speedruns, it's questionable, you know, how well routed it is or anything. It's a problem with it. Please don't tap me like this. I'm trying. It's really... I can't disconnect from it because it's connected to my OBS. Oh no. Not working. Anyway. So, first... You can hear each other. Oh no, it literally is me. What can I... This is weird. I wish I had technical difficulties music. I hope everybody's good. Definitely. Okay, we're just gonna break stream. Okay, hello, I'm back. Come on, Discord, work with me. This is the worst it's ever done to me. We've had robot voice, but this is sad times. Can I get an F in chat? Anybody's got Alexas, stick them to Despacito. I actually know how to pronounce that song. Thanks for the cue, appreciate it. Wow, his Discord died. That's amazing. Alright, let's have a look, lads. Let's go on an adventure. Discord servers. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Okay, I'm just gonna sit and talk and hope that Discord, like, brings itself back to life. So, record-wise, this started off with Keys pulling a 5:14 time. Then Eddaket and Keys traded records quite a few times. Goes back to Eddaket for a 5:11, Keys 4:35, Eddaket 4:13, Keys 3:56, 3:43, Eddaket 3:39. A Mega Evolution pops in for a quick 3:38 at this point. And then Keys gets a 3:27, and that's the last run done with Kabutops. The Kabutops route that Keys was talking about earlier dies at that point, and then everybody switches to Starmie. Apparently superior. I can understand why Starmie is very overpowered Pokemon. Then from there, there's a few. We have 3:27, 3:26 ends up being taken by Snorms. I have turned Discord off and on again. At the point where I'm switching it on, it's just stuck on connecting. Oh, this is astounding. Its Discord server status says it's working fine. So, Snorms sneaks in with a 326 and then improves it twice, 324, 322. Aito Taka, who is a Japanese runner, but we believe was running this on English, gets himself a 322 as well. And then the only person to sub 320 is Oro with his 316, which is on stream. So this is a big, and obviously it's an early game, early days, but Oro's run is a big jump ahead of anybody else's. Aito has a 318 now. I'm full of shit. So, it's almost a big jump ahead of everybody else. Aito is pulling up the game. So, I won't be surprised to well, I'll be very surprised actually if we get to next month's podcast and there isn't a huge jump in this. You'll see when we get to the leaderboard roundup later, where there's, I think it's the last I checked, there was 35 runs on that leaderboard, on a 2-week-old leaderboard. So, I'm going to try Discord again. Work. It's going to be a sad, lonely podcast otherwise. It's not working. Connection issues have reoccurred again. Engineer is investigating. Guys, we did it. So, what to do? Tell you what, while we're waiting on hopefully the return of everybody else, hopefully, let's talk about something that I'm not particularly knowledgeable in either necessarily. That runs good. But nobody else is that knowledgeable in this either. Everybody else is in the call. Great! Well, I literally can't fire Discord up. It's just not happening. Discord has a message up to say that it's having server issues. So I'm marking this down as not my fault. Yeah, this is the Explorers of Sky Any Percent World Record by Humas DS. Everyone's back here. Ty Kevin's just said that he can't get in. I'm not to blame. Right. I've just killed Discord. Is Amoeba even real? Figment of everybody's imagination. Or at least I think some people wish I was. To be honest, it sounds like a reasonable choice, Crafted. I'll just shitpost in chat. What is this? It loaded.
Oh.
Heyo.
Oh, he's back.
That was fun. I guess Keys left.
Yeah, Keys had to go.
Okay, that's fair. So, sorry guys, technical difficulties can't be helped.
It was all No, we could blame Keys. You know what? Keys isn't here. It was all Keys' fault.
Blame Keys.
I blame instant text because as soon as I said that, it died.
See, you guys are in the UK. I'm on the East Coast, so like I'm kind of close to you guys. But he was on the West Coast. That's like way too far.
Oh yeah, that's miles away.
It's just it's the big money attitude now. He doesn't need to pay for internet. Other people will pay for it for him. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keys. I feel really bad that you had like half an hour and half of it's been ruined.
Oh, yo, I actually reloaded on my computer. Wow.
Wow. Alright, so I pulled the Let's Go stuff back up better. If you had anything else to go over. I don't remember where we were, apart from instant text.
No, that's all right. I think I was talking about ride Pokemon. So.
Oh, the Onyx, yeah.
Yeah, so you could get an Onyx in Mount Moon, but Onyx is just basically like walking speed. It would just be more for swag, and it would take up a party space, and you would like end up leveling it up a bunch of times. So it's just not worth it. So yeah, we need to get that Rhyhorn in Rock Tunnel. We use that Rhyhorn until either Cycling Road, which is no longer Cycling Road, it's called Pokemon Road, where we could get a Ponyta that we could evolve into a Rapidash, or we could always get the Old Amber from Pewter City and get Articuno, get Aerodactyl, which would be just as fast as the Rapidash. So that's really sort of what we're looking at. I also mentioned that there are some differences between Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. So aside from the obvious difference of you have an Eevee in one game and a Pikachu in another, Let's Go Pikachu can catch a Growlithe, which can evolve into an Arcanine via a Firestone right outside of Rock Tunnel. And then now you have your ride Pokemon and you don't need another one. You don't have to get a Ponyta. You don't have to get Aerodactyl. You can just use the Arcanine.
Isn't Eevee significantly overpowered though?
Yeah, and so that's the other thing is the Eevee is significantly overpowered. So you can't evolve your starter Pokemon. Like I get the Eevee in the start of the game, I can't evolve that at all. And to sort of make up for that and make it so it's not just a useless Pokemon that you're going to put in your box, the game does two things. The first thing it does is it actually raises the base stats. So your partner Eevee has better stats than an Eevee that you would have caught in the wild. It also guarantees to have 31 IV in every stat. The nature's not guaranteed, so basically the only reset point is did I get a plus attack nature or not. But yeah, it's guaranteed 31 in every stat. And there are like move tutor moves specific to the partner Pokemon, and Eevee gets some really broken moves. It gets a 90 power special electric thunder wave. So it is a 90 power electric move that always paralyzes. It gets a 90 power water move that absorbs half the health that it damaged. It gets a 90 power physical fire move that always burns. It gets a 90 power psychic move that sets up light screen. Like there are so many those are the 4 that we use in the run. There's also 90 power ice that is haze, which is kind of useless for a speedrun because you set up, use that move, and now all your stats are gone. 90 power grass leech seed, so it sets up leech seed on the opponent. There's 90 power dark reflect.
Baddy bad.
Body bad.
And then there's 90 power fairy. Is it healing wish or heal bell? I forget which one. It's the one that removes all status conditions within your party.
Heal bell.
Heal bell. So yeah, you can get those. They unlock as you go through the game. You can get the water, fire, electric ones as soon as you get to Cerulean. You can get the psychic and dark ones when you get to Celadon, and you can get the other 3 when you get to Fuchsia. But it's really, really overpowered. Pikachu has similar moves, but it has less of them and they're not as useful. I think Pikachu gets a electric +2 priority always crit move.
With stab.
Yeah, so it's
Balanced.
It gets
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It gets a flying move, but it can miss, so it's kind of useless. It also gets a water move. I don't know what the effect is. I think it's like water paralyzed. I forget what it does, but they're not as good as the Eevee ones. So Eevee right now is just currently the faster version. Oro actually has the best Pikachu time as well. He has a 325 with Pikachu. So,
wow.
And that's actually Pikachu and Kabuto, which I think I heard you mention the 2 Kabuto and Staryu routes when you're going through the world record stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a note here written, I think by you, Edda, so I can't take credit for it, but that Keys' 327 was the last Kabutops run.
Yeah, it was the last Kabutops world record. Keys, I think, got a 325, but it was after Snorms had the 322, so...
Is that like a definite now, or is it still fairly close between the two?
It could be closer. I think Oro was saying that Kabuto is probably better on Pikachu than Starmie is, potentially, just because of some of like the money issues. And then it's better than on Pika than it is on Eevee, yeah. Starmie's still better than overall. Okay. So, yeah, you get more benefit from using Kabuto on Pikachu instead of Eevee. But
this is always the best part of the podcast, is when we have people in chat that really do know the stuff here, and they're just like, nah. It's like you say something, I mean, just like, nah, just let me stop you there, son.
Yeah, so my 413 as part of the world record order, my 413 was the last run I did on Pikachu. And that was actually, I had no faith in Pikachu as the main Pokemon until like using a Pikachu all the way until you get the Kabuto. I was main switching to Nidoking when basically right before Rock Tunnel. And that was a terrible route. You guys should never do that. But I mean, the game has gone through a bunch of different routes. Like SL Weed was looking at a Gyarados route. Wartab was really set on Zapdos for a while. So I mean, there's a whole lot of different different strats that you can do. Some of them might be better than Starmie, who knows? But
I like the range of different runners that it seems to have brought in as well. Because we were going through the leaderboards just before the podcast, and it's like, you know, you're very prolific in the Gen 3 remake runs. Keys is typically an earlier gen runner, or like Gen 4. Then there's Wartab, right, who's a Gen 6 master. There's a bunch of people on the leaderboard that have never run Pokemon games before that have run this as the first game. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the really big things, and you notice it on Twitch as a whole, not just speedrunning, is the game is so much easier to stream, so it's so much easier to pick up. You don't have that $200 or more because of Katsukity. You don't have like that $500 price tag on being able to stream the game, you know? All you need is a capture card, which most streamers probably already have. And you just basically plug and play and you're ready to go. You can do the runs. And then, I mean, the game is very intuitive to play. You could BS your way through the entire thing without a route and still get a decent 6 hour time, but like, you know, reasonable time, just by playing through the game. And then once you start looking at the actual route and everything, and you start, you know, we've had a bunch of new people come into the PSR Discord, and they basically have just never touched a Pokemon speedrun before, but they're contributing in the Let's Go channel, and they're pulling out some pretty good runs. So it's really nice to see.
It's nice to see that, considering this game was kind of a wobbly, in terms of the overall Pokemon community, that some people weren't looking forward to this, some people thought it was looking terrible. It's had such a massive support speedrun wise. Yeah.
And it's one of those things, we saw that requirement. It was before the game even came out, because it was when the data mine got leaked. We saw the requirement for Koga's Gym, and it was like, you need to catch 50 Pokemon, and everyone was just like, oh, this is going to be awful to speedrun. And it turns out it makes the speedrun even more fun. If you didn't have to catch the Pokemon, if they fixed the experience and you didn't have to catch Pokemon, it wouldn't be as fun as it is. It's just a fact.
I have thrown up on stream at the moment the current one-player two-controller record.
Yes.
Effects. Could you explain two controllers? How would you want to?
Yeah. So two controllers is completely broken in this game. And basically the reason why you'd use two controllers, at any point when you're either catching a Pokemon or about to do a battle, or in a battle, I guess you could say, you can shake the second Joy-Con. So for those that don't know, you're required to play the game. If you don't play it in handheld mode on the Switch, you have to play it with a single Joy-Con. You can't use a Pro Controller. You can't like use both Joy-Cons. That's not a thing. You have to play it with one Joy-Con. So naturally, there are two Joy-Cons, and the game wants you to basically play with a friend. And you can bring in your partner, or what is it? Support trainer is how they call it. And you can basically use that in two ways. You can either use that when you're catching a Pokemon, which will do a couple things where it makes the Pokemon easier to catch. You're throwing two balls at it instead of one. So it makes it easier to catch. You get more experience for it. And it's not really any slower. You have to shake the other controller to get it to come in, which is why he's sort of, well, he's not doing it now, but he like shook the controller and you saw the trainer fall down from the sky or go back up into the sky. It's that's bringing down the support trainer to be used. So you can do it in a wild encounter to catch the Pokemon. You can also do it in a normal battle, and it will make that battle a 2-on-1. You will have two Pokemon out there that you can control, and the opponent will have one Pokemon that they can control. So you can actually do things like, all right, in the single player run, this fight is X attack and then headbutt, you know? X attack on the first Pokemon, headbutt. And for the 2-player run, bring out your support trainer. Your first turn is use headbutt as the first Pokemon, use an X attack on the first Pokemon as the second Pokemon. You just saved a turn. So the routing for this is really cool because, I mean, that sounds really overpowered, but then if you're using the support trainer on a fight that you don't need it, you're just wasting the time. You have to pick a move as the other Pokemon. So it's got some really cool routing. Pulse has been the one really spearheading this category. For a while, he was the only one on the leaderboard. It looks like there are a couple now, but yeah, it's a really cool run.
So do you think it would be faster or slower than the one-person run, one controller run?
I'm not sure. I think it probably has the potential to be faster because you can get things like you're going to have more consistent experience routing. A lot of fights, like he's about to do Agatha here, and he brought out his support trainer. This fight on single player is like 3 turns of setup because you have to do an X speed, you have to do an X special, you have to do an X defend sometimes. He's just going to set up, like he didn't even heal for this fight, which is silly. So he's going to do Psychic and then X Special that guarantees the Arbok. Then he'll probably X Speed next turn, so that way he guarantees he's outspeeding like Gengar. And that's it. Like, it's so much faster in some fights. There is a bit of lag when you actually do shake the controller to make the trainer appear or disappear. So I could see if you're constantly doing that, it's going to lose some time. But I think overall this will end up being faster once it's like really optimized and more people start getting into it.
In a way, it kind of has to end up being faster because there's not much point in them being separate categories if one controller is the faster one anyway. I feel like this seems like something that's going to take months of optimization to really nail what is and isn't a time save.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll throw up as well the secret third category that hasn't got a leaderboard yet.
Oh, no way.
Eddaket, what is this nonsense?
So this is the maximum Pokedex Run. I don't have a good name for it, but basically this is the run to catch every obtainable Pokemon on a single cartridge. So no trading or anything like that. And there are 135 Pokemon you can catch.
Catch 'em most.
Yeah, catch 'em most. This is sort of equivalent to like 124 Glitchless in Gen 1 that Shenanigans and myself run. So it's basically the same thing as that. It's a whole lot of fun. I'm really hoping more people sort of jump into it. Cruel, so another runner by the name of Cruel did a run of this. Basically like day 2 the game came out, and got around a 10-hour time. And then this past weekend into this week, the run that we're showing here is from Wednesday. This past week I've basically this is all I've been doing. and it's a really addicting run. And the nice thing is it's a little bit more forgiving because it's not optimized yet. So any percent is starting to get like a little bit grindy because I don't get the right Eevee. I don't get good enough experience in Viridian Forest and Mount Moon. I have to reset. With this run, I can be a lot more laid back. And I mean, like, look at this. I'm 17 and a half minutes behind finishing Elite Four round 1, and I still beat this time by 8 minutes. So, it's been a lot of fun. It's a really sort of fluid run where every run I've done the route a little bit differently. And the Pokemon I'm catching are in different places. This run, I didn't get a Charmander in Rock Tunnel, and I actually forgot to get him before the Elite Four, so I didn't have my Flyer Pokemon. It's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's a really good run, and there are some pretty cool and interesting strats involved with this. So, for example, one of the things you'll notice if you're looking at the Pokedex counter at the bottom is both fossils are there. I can get Ammonite and Kabuto. I can also get both of the Hitmonlee, like the Hitmons, so I can get Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. That wasn't possible in Generation 1, and they give you a way to do that now, where you can actually pick up a fossil as a hidden item in Cerulean Cave. Which one you get is random, so you have to save before it and hope you get the right one. But you can get the other fossil, and you can also get both Hitmons, where they both show up as a secret encounter. I think that's the correct terminology. A secret encounter in Victory Road. Secret encounters are encounters that don't appear in the Pokedex. Like if I looked at Hitmonlee to see where, where is it going to spawn? What area does it live in? It's not going to show me Victory Road. It's a secret encounter that only appears very rarely and will appear more likely if you have a catch combo. So we talked about catch combos a bit earlier. If you get a catch combo up to like 5 Pokemon, 11 Pokemon, I think 21 and 31 are the last ones, you get more chances for these rare spawns to happen. And you can actually get them to happen almost all the time if you just get up to an 11 chain. So that's what I did. I have to catch 5 Meowths to get an Arcanine, which is a weird mechanic, but whatever. Catch 5 Meowths to get an Arcanine. I just extend that to an 11 chain, and then I go to Victory Road, and a Hitmonchan just appears. So it's really cool. What you're showing now here is the Zapdos catch. So just like the other game, Gen 1 game, we only have 1 Master Ball. You can technically pick up a Master Ball in Cerulean Cave. It's a really rare pickup, so you're not going to try for it. But I use the Master Ball on Mewtwo because it's harder to catch. When I get to Zapdos and to Moltres and Articuno, I had to catch them more naturally. And this was really cool because I actually got the Zapdos in the 3rd ball that actually hit the Zapdos. You'll see that one missed. And the Moltres took only 4 balls. So these can take 20, 30, they can take 100 balls if you just get unlucky. So
very classic Pokemon.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the time right now is 6:35. And I lost 20 minutes on Route 23, so it can definitely still be improved. I think the only other people who've done runs so far is Cruel, like I mentioned before, did that one sort of proof of concept run. And another runner by the name of Skateman222, who found a nice little trainer skip. He's also done a run just under 8 hours. So it's starting to pick up a little bit of momentum, but it's still in its infancy.
These the catch-all categories gained a lot of popularity just in general recent couple of years. Like, obviously the Gen 1's got all the glitched actual true catch-all, but then Roush and Tyrant were doing a lot of 140 something in Emerald. That was one they seemed to like doing. I could see this getting quite popular as well.
Yeah, and this is the perfect game for it. I mean, you're forced to catch 50 Pokemon just to beat the game. You may as well just catch the remaining ones.
Yeah. I feel like the the legendary birds resetting could be a bit awful. I believe you're right, Garth. I think 213 is the emerald one. It is a very high number. The emerald catch 'em all runs something like 9 or 10 hours.
Yeah, I see Garth was mentioning the Mewtwo bats the ball away. First time I threw the Master Ball at the Mewtwo and he batted the ball away, I was like, wait, does it not work? I was so convinced that for that split second before it actually catches it, because it's like a little like custom cutscene for Mewtwo when you throw a Master Ball specifically. And I was convinced that I'm like, wait, did I just waste my Master Ball? Did it actually bat it away? But then it got in, so it was good.
The experience from catching that Moltres is nothing.
Yeah. And Keys mentioned earlier there's the tiny Pokemon and huge Pokemon. There's also extra tiny Pokemon and extra huge Pokemon that you can't see. You can see if something's tiny or huge. You can't see if it's extra tiny or extra huge though. So you'll be going through Rock Tunnel, let's say, and catch a huge Graveler that turns out to be extra huge, and you just gained 2,000 experience for everything in your party.
Jeez. It's an unusual game. I quite like it. Some of the mechanics are very unique.
Yeah, it's it really came out of nowhere. A lot of people, like, I was excited for the game because it was new Pokemon, but I totally thought it was going to be another Sun and Moon for me, where I start playing it, and then 4 hours in, I'm just like, I don't really feel like doing this anymore. It's not that fun. I've probably picked up this game. There's probably been like maybe 4 days total since this game came out that I haven't touched it.
Wow. Yeah, I've got to be honest. I wasn't expecting much what I'd seen, but it's nice that this is, because it got good reviews as well. Casually, it wasn't panned, although there's still a little bit of mixed feeling, I guess. Yeah. So, when are you coming back to any percent?
Yes, I'll be coming back to any percent. Sort of what I'm doing. So the last run I did on any percent, I was still doing Kabutops. And I've started doing Starmie for this run, mostly because I needed something that could tank a Psychic from Mewtwo. But I'm basically learning the Starmie route while I'm doing this, in hopes that when I come back to any percent, my any percent PB is like a 333, which I got back when the world record was still 327. But I'm hoping when I get back, I can sort of PB by like 10 minutes and then just keep going from there.
Free world record. Easy.
Exactly.
Alright, so at this point I was going to say, I think Keizaron's got to leave, but Keizaron got to leave about... So I'm going to retrospectively thank him for his contributions, and I'm sorry that he had to be cut off on such short notice. From that, I think we'll go in... This is not all biased. Go into Emerald because I like Emerald. This is the new world record by Exarion New. And I'm not going to say anything right now because this is Sky Pillar 2. Well, I probably should say something to be a bit of a crap podcast.
He does not bonk.
Yeah. You should sit and watch this in awe, because I think this is the first time, definitely for a world record run, I don't think anybody's actually pulled off a bonkless Sky Pillar in a PB at all. I know Vincento back in the day had done it on keyboard, on emulator, in practice. But I'm not sure past that.
I've done it in practice.
Alright.
But on a run it's very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't play Gen 3, you may not realize how hard that is, but the bike moves, what is it, like 4 frames per tile?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Isn't it 2?
No, it's 4 for
It's 4.
max, 6 for acro, 8 for running. If it was 2, that would be absolutely insane. You imagine?
Yeah, and
Good luck controlling that.
I was gonna say, and this is a 60 frame per second game, so that means you're moving 15 tiles per second. So a lot of those, like, turn 1 tile and then go up, those are all, within
Impossible.
1/15 of a second.
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking 2 at 30.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4 at 60. Yeah.
it's equivalent. Yeah. I think he actually gets. He doesn't get the Rayquaza minute first try.
No, he got it second try, but he did get the chain minute Abra into Taylor.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was very nice because he was saying like the run before this, he was like, because chain manip is very hard to do and like very hard to route. He didn't have it like very consistent, so he had like a backup Wingull manip that he would do if he didn't get the Tailo, but he was kind of getting annoyed at losing like 30 seconds to having to do the extra manip. And he was just like, oh, if I just get the chain manip, then and everything goes well, I think I'll be able to get a good run. And then I think it was like the next run he got it. He got this.
So yeah, the chain minute was something basically invented by Shiru. The man has worked tirelessly for a year or 2 at this point probably, so that you can, instead of having to do 2 separate manips, one for Abra, one for a Taylor or another flyer, you get the Abra and then you time your A button inputs for clearing some of the text boxes afterwards, so that you manipulate.
Yeah, it's just the last one.
Is it just the last one?
Yeah.
But you still need a good win. He had to like design a path to run so that if you didn't get certain Tailo because you were 1 frame late, then the path later would pick up another Tailo later, and so it was like this. Yeah. I know, all on a generation of the game that doesn't have a good emulator, that doesn't emulate the RNG properly, so you can't figure it out on emulator at all. Right.
Well, you can to some extent, but sometimes you get weird results on console. But Exarion uses a different manip to Shiru. Like he's got his own one, which is just like slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, just want to quickly welcome Ty Kevin to the podcast. Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Yeah, good man. So yeah, this is actually, I believe it's two records by Exarion this month. I don't think the first one he did was in last month's, was it?
No.
No, I
they
don't think
were
so. It
pretty
was
close together, I think.
What's the count on number of people who have gotten 2 world records in different games in the same month?
Oh, God knows. About 1,000 because the Mystery Dungeon community
yeah,
has
Mystery
gone
Dungeon.
Huma's DS picked up about 4 records in a single month, I think, at one point. God. But yeah, for anybody that's not kept up with Emerald, the route has changed quite significantly because it's now using 4 separate manips. Oh, I suppose this is 3.
It's 3 if you get the chain for it. Otherwise, and yeah, Shiru's been doing this route for a while, and nobody really did it. And then Exarion did it recently as well, and I also did it recently.
Yeah. I think Exarion kind of brought in the Rayquaza manip from his all gold symbols run.
Yeah, that's kind of like the new thing, the Rayquaza manip, which. So you manip the catch and also the stats. So that's like a cluster of stats that you aim for.
Which the catch so that you save having to go and collect the Master Ball, which is 40 odd seconds.
Yeah. So even if you get it second try, it's still like the same time as getting the Master Ball. And then you also know your stats, which is pretty useful to know.
Is stat windows 5 frames? So it's not awful to hit.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty good stats.
And
yeah, a 5 frame minute like that isn't that bad. It's probably a good window for something that late in the game too.
Yeah. Like Rayquaza's stats don't matter too much. Like you can get away with any, but it's nice to know what they are.
There's some bigger time saves for the top end attacks though, isn't there? Like
yeah, and you can also know what X items you need, like at the shop, so you can save money.
Like the Wallace fight, if you're on low attack, you end up having to use fly 3 times and use aerial ace with good attack.
Or with terrible attack, you have to wait for Blizzard to miss, or like stall out his Blizzard PP because you have to have 2x attacks.
God, oh that's
Which is a lot slower.
Boy, that takes me back.
Yep.
Back to the days of 2x specials and outrage. God.
Persian-berries.
Persian-berries. Pick up 6 Persian-berries through your run because outrage is clearly the best move.
Don't have to reselect it.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so really with 4 manips now, this category is getting extremely optimized, I can imagine.
Possibly.
It's also a pretty decent run for not getting killed at too many places. Exarion did like one of his, calculating the chance of finishing a run, and it was like 10% or something compared to like Sapphire, like 2% or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't run Sapphire, run Emerald.
God, yeah. It seems like Emerald seems like the perfect mix of comfy, but got the execution difficulty as well because Mac Bike is not free.
Yeah. You got to practice a lot.
I'd say Emerald's probably one of the ones that's like it's most satisfying to get right. Like anything in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, it's so satisfying to get it right if you can finish runs.
Crafted, you said you were running this as well. How has that been going?
Yeah, it's a fun game. I haven't got a PB for a bit actually. I actually tied your time though. My PB is exactly the same time, and it's pretty much. I think it might be the exact same down to the frame because I put them side by side, and like it was so close.
Well, it's like
But I don't know if you got that video to hand.
I remember you. I think you linked it in your.
I'll see if I can get it quickly, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, because it's like Twitch VODs can be a bit funny, or YouTube VODs, and it might not be necessarily exactly the same frame rate, but when you put the two together, I think they finished a frame apart or something silly.
Yeah,
it shows. It's a really great showing actually the differences between the routes because obviously my run's like 3 years old at this point. Before we had, time was measured, but time was going by the in-game time. You couldn't save and reset. You couldn't manip. You couldn't do any of that, and
yeah,
you had to get lucky at the start of the run with both stats and.
So yeah, my run is behind. As soon as I save for Mudkip, my run is behind until the very last second of the run. That's where I catch up.
So Crafters is on the left, mine's on the right, and you can see I haven't had to manip Mudkip. Actually, to be fair, no, I do. We do the fire red leaf green manip at this point. So I did manip stats, but it's not the same set every time. So my stats are probably worse. I don't know. I can't remember how good the new ones are. But Crafted immediately loses time to me there because he's had to save and reset to get the consistent stats. And he says he's completely behind me until the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Because the new strat now is that these nutters deposit all of their Pokemon so that. Because we kept them, back 3 years ago, we kept them because you didn't want to die.
No,
you got this run 3 hours into it, and your Rayquaza got hit by Blizzard crit. You didn't want the run to just be over.
I would do that, but I was behind, so I was like, I've got to save time.
That's true, yeah.
So
you see here,
I'll just deposit.
We're actually past all the points of execution. I'm literally in a cutscene, but because he's deposited, you deposit like 3 slaves, don't you? And I'm carrying 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a full party. So that's it. That's the end of the run, and we are like tied almost down to the frame.
Wait, Crafted, are these aligned so that they start at the exact same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's this
Right,
close.
okay, because I just sat in 0.25 speed and started tapping my spacebar until they both blacked out, and they do stop at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's a really wonderful demonstration of the differences between the routes now, and it's just a great coincidence that I think it's pretty much frame perfect. I can't see the time on mine to see what the milliseconds are, but I mean, there's probably some variance in frame rates and.
Or like when the timer started, but yeah, it's got to be within like 1 or 2 frames. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I lined it up with like the intro cutscene starting, not with the timer. So it's like.
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's show this as well, because I do have the excuse that in-game time didn't matter for this, but Crafted beats me through the first cutscene by a solid 2 seconds because I just didn't mash. Because this doesn't matter. This doesn't count for in-game time, so I just leisurely tapped my way through it.
I was gonna say your run was 3 years ago. That was before in-game time.
That's funny.
Or the RTA switch.
Before RTA, so it literally doesn't matter. I could have taken this as slowly as I wanted, and the only reason I went through fast was to keep the splits roughly in line.
That's awesome.
I remember talking about how optimal mashing is so difficult in Gen 3 because of the 60 FPS text boxes.
Yeah, and then like the last text box of when someone's speaking, you can't clear until I think it's like 2 frames after they finish speaking, while the others you can clear earlier. So it's like, and you have to time that as well so it's annoying.
Where were we with Exarion's record?
Yes.
Oh no, we were talking about
records.
Yeah. Records, yeah. So we've been saying it for a while. We've been waiting on Shiru to. Well, Shiru's had PB after PB, but really waiting for him to explode through with a massive run. That's not quite stuck it yet. And please, Shiru, please, we're gonna throw you a little party when it happens because we know it's coming. Please get the record because the boy deserves it. He's put so much work into this. Yeah, I'm glad that Emerald's getting some love.
All I want for Christmas is a Shiru world record.
We'll do an impromptu podcast just to discuss Shiru's run. Just throw that shit up there. Let's go.
Got like the bat signal for Shiru's face.
Right, so from the Emerald Love, we're going to talk about a very long speedrun. Werster has been doing this now for about 2 weeks, on and off, obviously because it's a 20-hour run. He's not been doing it every day, but he's been trying, grinding this run out.
Grinding a 20-hour run.
Literally, well, he has. He's been doing attempts for a good week or 2.
Yeah. He's on attempt 138 of this category.
I
never thought I'd see the day where this category would be like not just a one-off thing.
Yeah, this is the nutty complete game category because it's like 100%, but you don't have a percentage counter.
Well, it's any percent.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just beating the game.
You do everything though, don't you? But there's nothing else to do in the game once you've done all of it.
It's just getting to the credits. Any percent.
It's 100%.
It's
all of it.
Which is also any percent.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's like, but yeah, this is one of Werster's like big projects. I'd love to see the routing document he has for this. Because it's either going to be 1,000 pages or it's going to be 3 and completely you can't understand it if you're not Werster. Because the notes are just going to be super specific.
Yeah, so his first run of this was 42 hours. I remember watching that.
Wow, I didn't realize he dragged it down that much.
Yeah, after that it was like 27, and then he went from 27 to 20. And then he's been at the 20-hour mark for a while.
He lost. Well, he didn't lose a couple of runs, but he had a couple of runs where he got headaches halfway through and had to drop out of them.
Yeah.
So you've really got the real life, endurance factor playing in as well for the run of this length.
Yeah, and the other thing, like with this specific, he was So you just went back a bit, so now you're at like the 14-hour mark. Like his best possible time here was still 18:45, and he ends up finishing at 19:30 something. So he actually lost quite a bit of time in a lot of the later cups. You'll even notice, like looking at the last 3 splits, he goes from an hour and 21 minutes to an hour ahead, and then
Yeah.
back to 58 minutes ahead. So the run, even though it's insane, it's still improvable.
Well, he
There's
said
just
that
so-
he doesn't reckon this will ever be beaten. Like,
Yeah.
which is obviously a brave call for any runner to say. Shoutouts to the 1810 in Ocarina of Time. But,
Yeah.
like,
But it's just one of those things. Like, you can see his sum of best. His sum of best is 15 hours. Like,
There's just so much variance in Stadium
it's
because it's just all battles.
he
And
really
like-
doesn't know how this works. He has to use. We don't have to. People have set the rules so you have to use rental Pokemon, because if you brought in Pokemon that you trained yourself, it'd be a boring 15-hour sweep.
yeah.
So using preset rental Pokemon adds the challenge in, and it's the ability to know what Pokemon you've got, what movesets there are, and how to counter. I think every trainer has the same 6 Pokemon they can choose from, but they don't necessarily bring the same ones every time, even if you bring the same team yourself. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like this game is actually a challenge. Like if you use the rentals, even if you know what you're doing, it's still a challenge.
yeah,
there are some fights. I forget exactly which one it was, but I was watching, and he was like, the trainer can do any combination of pokes, but if he doesn't lead with an electrode, I can't win. So he'll just immediately exit the fight if he doesn't see an electrode. Like,
he literally he doesn't even wait for it. He's just like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
lost. It's not Electrode. We lose.
but
Is it-
yeah,
like
the strats for this run are really cool too, because you're using the rental Pokemon. You can't choose what moves you have, so you have to do things like use a Voltorb instead of an Electrode. Like, half the time his chat when he has a Voltorb out on screen is like, why aren't you using Electrode? It's like, well, Voltorb has Thunder, it has Rain Dance, so Thunder Rain Dance is pretty stupid. It has Mirror Coat, which using Mirror Coat and counter is a huge thing in this run, and it has Self-Destruct or Explosion. I forget which one,
But
but
it's like they have the weird balance in that, like, Electrode has self-destruct, but Voltorb has explosion. So like the weakest stat Pokemon gets the better moves.
Yep. So it's if you have a chance and you haven't seen it, I think most of the people watching this probably know Werster and probably have caught some of the run, but like, just scroll your way through the run and check out the strats in some different fights. It's a really cool run.
It's a great demonstration of knowledge to be
Oh, yeah.
able to do this.
I would like to point out that this run is 19.5 hours long, and Amoeba still cut straight to the part where he dies, like right at the end.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even notice.
pretty
It's
sure
just-
that was my fault. Too.
it's
It
a
was like
skill,
straight
man.
to the Aeroblast crate on Rival.
It's a skill, man. You've got to do it. You've got to. It's in a way, it's sort of, when I end up doing it, it's sort of a compliment, because it's like people's runs are so good that that 98% of it will stick to the plan. So the interesting points of the run is where the plan fails and how they adapt to it.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
A lot of the time, the best bits to highlight are the bits where it goes wrong, because you really get to see how a runner reacts and how they, how they work through it. We're gonna go from this world record to a bit of meta news. I'll throw this tweet up in here, and unfortunately, he's not here for us to shit talk him about it. But Keizaron, as of, I think this was a couple of days ago, so 3rd of December, is now sponsored. He is now Noble Keizaron. So Noble have picked him up as a sponsorship, which is a nice. I think it's the first Pokemon, PSR sponsorship of any kind, isn't it? No one else.
It's definitely the first one for somebody who's like not exclusive necessarily, but like brands themselves as a Pokemon speedrunner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other, like, Gunner maybe, but I don't think so.
Gunner's not sponsored.
Right.
At least not by an esports organization.
No. Oh, does he have like? Oh yeah, you can have like deals with people. Yeah. This is specifically like Keys will be earning an income through Noble for representing their brand, which is a really nice thing to see for the community. And definitely one of the people up there who deserves it, I'd say. I'd be interested to see if anybody else gets picked up soon. So I think Gunner would probably be the more obvious choice, although his streaming schedule's been a little out of the way at the
Yeah.
moment, just because of, I think he's having some IRL issues. So we hope that gets back. Like to see Gunnar up there. I'd like to see Exarion. I'd like to see Crafted. Scoa, they can have some. Eddaket maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Anybody else, do we reckon? I'm not sure who else would be up there, I think. Because obviously
I'd rather keep it as a hobby.
the
Yeah.
noble pursuit.
I'll take that old
Noble.
TAS sponsorship. You know, those esports TAS organizations are really big.
I don't know, man. I'd have no problem getting rid of school just to play Pokemon.
CLG Ty Kevin.
Oh no.
Yeah, this does follow on from CLG picked up a couple of months ago. They picked up ZFG, Caleb Hart, Cheese, and Majin Phil. Majin Phil? Is that how you
And
pronounce
they
it?
poached Cheese and somebody else from
East Coast.
From
Yeah.
Beast Coast, yeah.
Well, I believe they left East Coast rather than poached, but yeah. So it's nice to see.
Poached might be overstating it, but
It's nice to see speedrunning sponsorships in general. People
Yeah,
obviously
I was
making money
looking,
off of it's quite a difficult thing.
Yeah. I was looking, actually, apparently TGH is also sponsored by Noble.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's
Nice.
another
nice
runner,
link
not
as well.
specifically Pokemon, but
I wonder if they'll pick up anybody else. Because it seems to be a bit of a chain of them. Because like CLG picked up 2 or 3 at a time. So yeah, congrats to him. From there, we're gonna come back to a point I brought up during technical difficulties. This is the Explorers of Sky any percent world record by WhomisDS, and this actually follows on quite nicely from the. If you were watching last month's podcast, we had Like a Noob on, who did a great bit on the Mystery Dungeon community as a whole, and one of his big points was a guy named Finn, TG Finn, I think it is.
HG Finn.
HG Finn, I was close. Who had taken second place in this category, and it was quite big news because WhomisDS's record before this run was considered nigh unbeatable. And ironically, Humis has come back and obviously beaten his run. Using some new strats, you may have seen just a moment ago, he was walking through walls. It's the use of the mobile scarf, I believe that is. Either that or the mobile scarf gives him this incredible speed. You'll see he's just leaving his partners behind and travelling 2 or 3 tiles in a single turn rather than one. Yeah, so this was his old PB was considered a nearly unbeatable run. So it's impressive that he's come back and beaten it almost, a month after someone was threatening it. WhomisDS has also picked up a couple of other world records this month, as is standard. At this point, it's not even news; we just expect them to. We'll go in over those during the leaderboard roundup. Yeah, congrats to him. Apparently, he also reduced the number of Wonder Mails he used for this run as well. This is the Wonder Mail run where they can generate rewards from missions based upon the Wonder Mails that they enter. Obviously, the less that they have to enter, the better. So from here, Exarion's going to make a second appearance. Now we have notes already written up and set up ready to go for Exarion's world record in Colosseum.
which happened literally hours ago, right?
Well, no, we had the notes set up for one that happened a couple of days ago at 3 hours and something.
We had that one.
God bless Garfield, who has @amoeba'd me in the Discord with this link. Because Exarion finished this run literally as the podcast started. So this run is an hour and 20 minutes old. Reminder, folks, if you want fresh news, it is available on the PSR podcast.
We were literally waiting for and Crafted's like, oh, Exarion's on a run. Oh, he's ahead.
Did you say he was in the final fights and he was plus 0.4? Or something
He finished the run like right right as we started. You were like, okay guys, we're about to start, and I was like, yeah, Exarion just finished, by the way.
GG. Done. So this is a new route that Exarion's been routing out for a week or two now, replacing the normal secondary Pokemon of Feraligatr with Quilava. In the description for the PB before this one, he was explaining that it might not actually be faster. It could be very, very close. And the interesting mechanic that plays into that is that Quilava is generally better in the late game because it has access to Fire Blast, which is a ridiculously powerful move. Whereas Feraligatr is obviously more... It's an attack orientated rather than special attack, and it has less powerful moves. But Quilava,
which is really useful for the opening hour of the game where you're using Shadow Rush and you have no coverage with different types of moves. So
so it's just raw attack.
Yeah.
But
So that's why he's 4.5 minutes behind Eddaket.
Yeah, but the interesting combination of it is that the natures that Quilava wants to be plus special attacks, in Naughty is minus... what is it? Minus defense?
Special defense.
I was close.
Special defense. Yeah.
It's close. It's minus... Yeah, so it's plus special attack, minus special defense. You want plus special attack natures for your Quilava. But these natures... The nature of a Pokemon in Colosseum determines how it favours being purified. So there's 5 different ways to purify a Pokemon in Colosseum. Bringing out in a battle, is it massages or something? Or incense or something? Like that?
Call?
Yeah, call in a battle,
Yep.
the daycare, and just walking around with it. So the natures that Croconaw likes and Feraligatr, the natures that Croconaw and Feraligatr like to have to run with, favour bringing them out into battles. So literally playing the game as you would to speedrun it makes it purify faster, but the Quilava ones, the plus special attacks, don't as much. But it takes longer for Quilava to become purified. I don't believe he goes out of his way to purify it in any other way. I think he still just uses it in battles and just accepts the fact that it's going to purify later. But obviously, until you've got a purified Pokemon, your only move you have is Shadow Rush, which is a physical attack, which is not great for specially orientated Quilava. You can see the dividends compared to the Croconaw split pay off in the end. He ends up being 4.5 minutes behind the Croconaw run to 3.5 minutes ahead.
And I think it's important to note is the way that the RNG works with being earlier losing time and then the end game guaranteeing better fights with Fire Blast. It's actually way better for a speedrun because you can reset the early game more efficiently than you can reset the late game.
Yeah, that's very true.
So you could reset to save some of those few minutes that he's lost to Eddaket. Of course, you can't really reset for this Quilava, holy crap. But,
Getting fresh news from the chat from RetroTato that Gino Kirby was apparently the one originally looking into Quilava routing.
yeah.
I always think there's merit in the alternative starter runs, even if it's just for a general execution case. How many times have we seen the story of, oh, someone started running with this Pokemon. Oh, it's looking pretty quick. Oh, it's faster. It happened with Nidoking in Red. It happened for a little bit, it happened with Charmander in Fire Red. It looks like it might be happening in Colosseum.
And then it spurs all that, with Fire Red, it might not have been faster in the end, but it spurred tons of route improvements with people trying to make Squirtle better again.
It actually ended up improving the Squirtle route because they wanted to conclusively say which one was better, so they had to find a better way to do Squirtle, and it ended up being the black glasses on Lorelei that saved the final bit of time.
Black glasses Lorelei, the ultimate meme.
It's just having bite. Charizard gets stomped in Lorelei. Awful. Yeah, so Colosseum record. I don't remember who had the record before this.
Rysican, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, because it was a recent one.
Oh yeah, because we were really hyped to announce it because he'd been getting seconds over and over again.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Rysican, he went from second to second to second to second, and then finally got the first, and it was like, yeah.
And a month
routed.
later.
Yeah. WR. From there, we'll go to. We're going to go through a spade of Japanese records because there's been a few. This first one is, I think this is Punyuta's.
Yes.
Punyuta, yeah, sorry. So this is Punyuta's any percent. It's now only a PB. Unfortunately, it doesn't have record status, but it's the first Japanese sub 1 in Diamond and Pearl any percent. So I'm definitely unqualified to talk about this one.
It's important to note that Japanese includes the credits, so that's why the time is slower than English. The text is obviously faster, but then the credits are long. So I'm not sure how long exactly the credits are.
They're 4.5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Just over.
So,
Gen 4 still in the ones where the Japanese text is faster.
The Japanese text is absurdly fast in Gen 4. It's amazing.
it's because it's just the same speed as English, but then Japanese has less characters.
I think his capture cards are glitching out a little bit, doing little graphical glitches on the top screen.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's where he spliced the run.
Just the bottom half. The top half was fine. We just needed to change the text.
Yeah, exactly.
So we go from the Punyuta got the first sub 1, but the classic bopped in the same month. Buster Poke. It's up a 58-55. I believe we're looking at, this is the final tweak of the run, isn't it?
Where are you on the video?
I don't know.
Cycling
I'm
Road.
still like 50 seconds behind because I lag so much. But
He went from biking on Cycling Road to biking in the void.
Yeah, so you do 3 tweaks there to get through Cycling Road, and then you do 1 in Jubilife to get into the void.
The technical difficulties are killing us right now. But yeah, so this is a Japanese runners are going in enforced. Not Japanese community can seem to go up and down. Buster's a big mainstay for them, and then Punyuta kind of appears disappears as he seems to want to. Otherwise, there's not many common names. It's nice to see more happening. I'd like to see more and more Japanese, more and more English runners doing Japanese would be good as well. Had G Hines doing Japanese Sapphire. Oh, Scoa, aren't you doing Japanese Emerald?
if I can figure out how to get Chin Manip to work, yes.
Why, dude?
Dude, I've been able to do it quite a few times. It's just I'm trying to get it consistently. It's not playing ball.
Wingo, dude. Easy.
Wingle's
Easy
easy.
Wingo.
Well, did Buster do that Jubilife tweak differently? Or am I just insane?
I wasn't watching.
I swear he did that differently.
Let me rewind it, and then once you
Rewind.
guys...
I'm also like 20 seconds.
That's to say,
behind
once you
him.
guys have caught up, then you can watch it.
Yeah, he did the tweak from the top. Jim Freak, try it.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, it's the same tweak, it's just
Different
doing
pattern.
it the other way around.
Yeah. So it's the double for Diamond and Pearl 90%. Buster kind of going in hard on Gen 4 glitched in general because it is platinum any percent.
What?
Thanks, Ty. that was a lot of excitement. You can't spring that kind of stuff on British people. We're not ready for it. This is the first Japanese run. I'm literally reading Crafted's notes here, I think, or Scoa's. First Japanese run with double tenter.
I'm pretty sure this is the first one that's been done.
So this is well, not the standard route, but this is the current top route for the English runs. Catching the level 40 tentacle and then level 50,
Yeah.
which is still such a silly combination. Garth, funnily enough, you should hold that message until the next point that we're going to talk. Yo, shout outs to whoever highlighted this one as well, because this wasn't me, but you nailed the bad bit. Failed the manip, dead on.
Oh, did he? I just kind of was like, hey, here's the level 50, we'll do this.
Well, the thing about the level 50 is you can fail it just by getting unlucky with the NPCs and then having to like adjust.
Yeah.
I get it. It's also with the level 50, you kind of have to feel it like once to kind of see where you are as well. It's really hard to know, like, first try where you get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because of like the spinners being loaded, it messes it up. Whereas the level 40 is always just the same thing.
Yeah.
Brats. Buster's. I think Buster's appeared in every podcast so far for about
Probably.
4 or 5.
Probably.
Oh,
Because he's been hammering our records all
languages,
year.
too.
Like,
We've
Chris Nolan.
I think it took 3 or 4 months for him to nail the Heart Gold Soul Silver English record. 'Cause
Yeah.
I kept seeing tweet after tweet after tweet, and he was just like, smiley face, dead run. it was
Yeah,
always in,
him
always in
hitting his
Claire's
spinner
gym.
or dying to crit.
It was always in Claire's gym as well.
Dude,
Well, those
those spinners are horrible.
Yeah.
And so, Garth has psychically predicted this one, but we're going to talk about it anyway. This is...
Psychically predicted something that already happened.
I can ban you at any point. Leave. Don't insult me. Yes, Garfield has predicted this being on the podcast. That we're not terrible at our jobs. You actually know what we're doing.
Yeah, we're
Bingo.
professionals.
Yeah, no. Well, let's not lie to the people. Ringo gets the new XY Japanese record, 352. I have no idea how this compares to the English record. I know the text is going to be slower.
English record is a 342, I want to say.
Yeah, I think like Japanese text in Gen 5 and onwards is ever so slightly slower. I don't know if it applies for 7, but definitely for 5 and 6, I'm pretty sure it's slower.
Yeah, the text, even in English, the text in this game moves so fast. It's quite literally 8 frames, or 8 characters per frame. So you can load an entire text box in like 4 frames, and you're done.
But you have to hold B at all
You
times.
have to hold B.
You really?
Yeah.
The XY, you have to hold B throughout all mashing, and you have to do a triple main switch. Why on earth does
Well,
anybody run this game?
There are more comfortable ways to do the text smashing. If you want to put on L equals A, you can also hold down the L button and mash B. That's pretty comfortable. That's how I do RS.
Oh, that sounds pretty.
Is it not the thing like you hold either L or B and then like tap the screen and press the other one?
Yeah, so that's the other thing is you can make the text advance by hitting the touchscreen too. So the actual fastest way to mash right now is hold L or B, mash B or A, depending on which one you're holding down, and also hit the touchscreen with your other hand. So like you're just like contorting your hands like crazy. It hurts at the beginning,
So,
but
like,
you get used to it.
maybe like middle finger on top, thumb on bottom, or middle finger on L, thumb on bottom, pointer finger on touchscreen, and then other hand for the buttons.
That's how I do it, yeah.
I do thumb on touchscreen. Like I've done it before, but it's really hard to find a comfortable way to do it.
Just get another.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
person.
can do like palm at the bottom, and then ring finger on L and pointer on touchscreen.
Just get
it's
another
hard to aim
person.
I don't know.
Co-op
I have
Gen
really
7
long
runs.
fingers, so like it's not really an issue for me. But I just thought I'd share that. So.
One thing, we learn something new about Scoa every month. He's 12 years old and has very long fingers.
In before emulator strats are way faster for this.
How do you emulate? How would you run a touchscreen game on emulate? Is that like better or worse?
Well, you just click it.
That they're clicking the entire run.
Dude,
Entire-
my black emulator run.
Your entire run, you're just
All you
I
can
used
hear
my
throughout the
Xbox
entire run is-
controller, and like anytime a battle comes up, like you can just hear me mashing the hell out of my mouse.
Oh no.
It's like the entire run. All you hear is like me sitting doing that.
Quality
Mouse
audio
keys.
content on the PS podcast.
as I say, it'll be like trying to watch Shen do D-sum. It's the entire time. It's awesome.
God. And yeah, that's XY. Don't know how we got to where we did, but there we go. So that's all of the Japanese records, and that's pretty much it for the main points. We are going to go into the leaderboard roundup. Just going to edit this.
This is my favorite part. I'd just like to point this out. I absolutely love the leaderboard roundup.
There's something quite satisfying seeing how many people have improved and how regularly they've improved.
Shoutouts to Let's Go this month. It's gonna be hard waiting for that one.
Let's
Oh my goodness.
not.
I don't think there were any new runs, so we don't really.
No,
have to consider it.
I've written in the notes. It looks like there are no runs.
There are new runs.
It's going to be really nice it being, because it normally gets very quiet towards the end of the leaderboards, and then we're just suddenly going to get to the last game and it's going to be like, oh, here's 1,000.
This has actually been a pretty meaty month though for PBs. Like there's been a lot this month.
We're actually going to start off in a way with a quiet game. Red Glitchless only has 7 people. You might go, only? But this is normally like 15 to 20 PBs a month, so this is quiet. Nothing in the top 30. The first PB is 46 for Riz Grestar. Anybody know Riz Grestar? I don't even recognise this name, actually. That's because it's a brand new runner.
New runners.
A 154 is his first run. That's really good.
Top
Yeah.
50 is a
Very
hell
good.
of an introduction to the leaderboard. The
With his
best
first
red
speedrun
PB
at
this
all.
month.
He nearly bopped Tykefen in his first run.
Oh, dude, why are you going to play him like that? He's literally, he's in the call. You can't just call him out.
I'm
like that.
pushing him to improve.
My leaderboard run is literally a race time. Okay.
Well, he did bop Gym Freak. Gym Freak's in the chat. We can make fun of him.
Oh yeah, at Jim.
Oh
Freak.
no, I've already bullied Gym Freak too much.
We almost banned Scoa last month because he bullied Jim Freak so hard. The
I
PS,
still feel really bad about that. I'm sorry, Gym Freak.
the PS podcast does not condone violence or bullying.
Oh, he
fuck
bopped
Jim Freak.
Crafted though, because Crafted cares about his Gen 1 times.
No,
Where's
my
Crafted?
time.
Oh, there it
56.
is. 56. Hey, if it's any consolation, guys, you all bopped me because I'm 100 and something.
I don't even have a time on the board.
Don't even care
so-
about the something. I'm just there somewhere. So we have 54th for F Fan Crazy. I think that's a new name as well. Although every time I guess this, I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm kind of wrong. Still, that's a decent improvement. 7
Ooh, and
minutes
he's
over
running
the
on
past 2
console.
years. 82nd for Spiraster. I know that's a repeat name. I'm going to put money on this.
I have
I
heard
was
that
right.
name before.
Yeah, so
Virus.
popped up in last month with the NSC and Glitchless PBs. And again, nice to see more improvement. Knocked nearly a minute off of his Glitchless time. 122nd for Dragon Rage UK. Can't be mad at a man that has UK at the end of his name. 232nd for Snoopy 1 Alpha.
Neat.
Possibly a first run. Oh wow. So 5 PBs in the last month, dropping his time from 236 to 208. That's pretty good. Neat. 303rd? 303rd? How the hell do you say that?
303rd.
300, it still sounds right. Just Siegfried?
303rd.
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 I am Umstov. Umstov entered at 303rd. Siegfried.
But no, seriously, there's more than 300 runs on Red now. How many are there?
There's 332.
That's awesome.
There needs to be one more.
I think we crossed 300 a few podcasts ago. I remember mentioning it at some point.
Yeah, I'll just do a run quickly so we can get 333 runs.
About 1 hour,
Take-
easy peasy.
Yeah,
Take
see
one
you guys in
longer.
like 3 hours.
Oh, I just want to point out as well.
Do it.
Not
Do it longer
relevant-
than 6:07.
Oh god, no.
Get last.
Reminder that 330th Bubsy literally was blindfolded. Literally.
That's right.
Yeah.
This run is actually blindfolded and he's not last. Oh, I will bottle that for later, JP. Remind me when we get there.
We will forget to say that.
Yeah. And 328 for JJ__. Is an interesting name. Nothing for the Japanese categories at all, which is always a little bit sad. Hopefully someone will take up the mantle there. NSC gets 20th for Ebony Zero. Where are you? Oh, wow. 5-way tie for 20th. I didn't notice that.
I'm 19th.
Yeah. All of these people can't get past Eddaket. Got them good. And 37th for Fiery Facade, which is also a good name. RBO gets some real love. Gym Freak, a Welly Relly. I think we want to go take a look at this for a bit, because we actually ran out of time, main point wise. Otherwise, this could have been. Can I talk about the font on that set of splits?
Can we talk about how accurate his run comment is?
Is that
Can't wait for Pokeguy to beat this.
Is that Comic Sans? I may have to just turn this off.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But the oh no, it is comic.
Gross, my dude.
My eyes. But the run is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, look, wow, gold splits. Hello.
Comic Sans is a good font.
Slash timeout. Gym Freak.
The pain.
73920. Bye. You don't get to talk while we're talking about your run now.
You got a world record. Timeout.
Timeout. This is your prize. Well done.
But 30 seconds ahead is pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know what's. Oh, we see PBs by 30 overall. So we're all bullying him, but congrats to Gym Freak. Well done. Reverse badge order is such a weird run. I love it, but it is really weird.
It's a very good run.
Can't wait for Pokeguy to beat this. 8th place as well for Crachel. RBO's getting some real love. Go to the end of your VOD to see your friend calling you.
What did I even do?
KR?
Hey everyone. Where the heck is the fucking... There it is.
Oh, you probably need the sound.
Nah, yeah, we're not going to search through for that. Tempted, but had enough technical difficulty. Pocket Monster Stadium, quiet as ever. Yellow gets 2 PBs English, which is pretty quiet, I think, for Yellow. But,
Depending on the month, yeah. Yellow comes like in and out with people playing it.
Chunky PB for Césaire. Really glad to see this again. Césaire's been around for a while doing Yellow. It's nice to see him jump up more. 12th place overall. Oh, it's 2 PBs actually. Went from a 1... Oh no. Oh, he's done Classic as well. No, so 1 PB in Glitchless. But then he's also PB'd in Classic for 3rd place.
Cool.
Beaver could only find... Yeah, if you literally died in your VOD, I'd manage to find that. 22nd in Glitchless for Marcherify. I'm almost certain that's a repeat name. That's an improvement from something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, live now. Let's go find him. Drop the time over.
Him down.
Hello.
He's in with the Insomniacs and pseudo trainers group of players. So
what does
new
that
name.
mean?
There's like a whole Discord for like a team basically at Pokemon Speedrunners.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How did I not know about this?
Yeah.
Why? What do they do?
They're like friends. I don't know.
Oh.
They speedrun.
And they speedrun.
Why are they just not in the main speedrunning Pokemon Discord? What
They
an odd
are.
thing to do.
Most of them are.
Okay. Oh,
There's-
more power to them. They're doing
Yeah.
good stuff.
They have a better Discord.
Yeah. With Blackjack and
They're doing a
Hobbies.
marathon actually in January too. But yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Reminder for the next podcast, we shall shout that out. NSC in yellow gets a 1 PB in 37th by Gregor.
Only 1 PB. Yeah, in RTA. Yeah, only 1 PB in RTA.
What do you mean?
Oh, I know. I never
Oh,
submitted mine.
What?
Well, there was a new task.
All right.
He's making a task joke.
Oh
no,
where's the
Amoeba.
link? I forgot to add it in. Help. Ty, link, please. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, it's
We
all
are
good.
good at our jobs.
We're good at our jobs. We will bench that one. Same with everything else that we've forgotten.
But it's we had so much stuff going on this month. It's impossible to cover everything.
I meant to put it in there. That's the thing. You told me about it. and I
Would
was
like to point
"Oh."
out, like before this started, and maybe was like, I feel really well prepared for this one.
Yep. I felt really good for this one. This one was going to go well. That's what I get. Hey You Pikachu gets a 4th place for Hayafo. Anybody know anything about Hey You Pikachu yet? I feel like we'd learn more and more every month.
I want to play it 1 month actually.
It's definitely a game.
We learnt last month that you
is
play
it
it
a
by
good one?
screaming. You just shout into a microphone and that plays the game.
I shout into my microphone while I play anyway, so
Same.
that shouldn't be too much of an issue for me.
Quick bonus content. Snap news, fresh off the presses. Except it's quite old. This is the new yellow NS... Oh, we're going to have to get to the good bits. The new NSC TAS. Sub 10. Ty Kevin, explain.
First ever Gen 1 sub 10 NSC task. So basically, we found a new DD setup for Pikachu that makes it so that we only need to do party swaps. So we don't have any bag underflow to move stuff around for going to the Hall of Fame. So we buy 4F, decrement our party count to 84 actually in decimal. And then, yeah, we see a Nidoking because we don't soft reset for V-Minip. And then we do this party swap stuff and go straight to the Hall of Fame in only 4 swaps. Whereas the previous one had 7 swaps and did item bag manipulation. So it's 25 seconds faster now than the one that showed at GDQX in October.
And you're rich.
Yes. And we've owned 61 Pokemon already because that means we don't have an input in that Hall of Fame sequence. So the last input is because task timing is by last input instead of by when the Hall of Fame fades out to white. So if you set owned Pokemon count to 61, it makes the task shorter.
Silly.
Yeah. So the end of this run is the craziest payoff for what we did. And actually, secret news just for this podcast. The famous Mr. Wint came out of whatever, I don't know if he's in retirement or whatever, but I PM'd him asking for help with finding Yellow Deep. And he found a Pikachu that's 3 seconds faster than the one I did in this run. So there is potential now for the sub 950.
Are you saying that this is one to watch?
Might be.
Might have to stamp this.
Oh, the first stamp of the episode.
Actually, we should have stamped the guy that got top 50 in red. I meant to do it at the time. I meant to give him the one to watch stamp.
Right, Risk Grey Star, you've now been stamped. There you go.
Congrats. Well done, Ty. I do
Thank
like
you.
to see. I'm glad that some task content's coming back because it's been very quiet, just in general. Not even Pokemon wise. It's just was it MK Dasher that did the Fire Red task with Clefable? That was great.
Mhm.
Bloody silly run. So we had that one PB in Hey You Pikachu. We're gonna go to TCG now, and we have a new world record here that we didn't have time to cover in the main topics. And it's just well, I say just, it's a improvement on the route that he used last time. So just a slightly quicker time overall. Starting again after the tutorial just to save 8 minutes of nothing. Don't imagine, judging from his comment of the Awful Dome not satisfied, that this is going to be it. I think we're going to see an improvement. But GTNT... I forgot the pun. Damn it. I'm going to say GTNT GTCG WR.
Oh, you literally like recited that, right?
Yeah.
You were like, I'm making sure I say this.
I forgot.
And you'd
well.
one chance.
One opportunity. But yeah, this GTN appeared 2 or 3 podcasts ago with this kind of out of the blue record in a way. He was 3rd or 4th overall, and then he suddenly jumped up with this new route. So he's used the same route again, but with a nicer time. So I'd expect this to go down quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised, Garth. I could see that happening. So yeah, first place for GTN TG. 25th for, this is a great name, Ayo What Up. And 57th for SG4E. Nothing new for all cards. That was a nice new category a couple of months ago, I think. Or newly added to the leaderboards. Snap has been quite busy again. So we have 2nd place for Levon 117. Also shout outs to Speed Docs. They're the creators of the 100% world record progression video that we showed a month ago. 2 months
They
ago?
also have a podcast called The Gold Split that I was featured on this last month.
No, we're not allowed to talk about other podcasts. It's illegal.
Competing podcast, man.
Do they actually have a podcast? Are they on the podcast page?
I don't know. That's a good question. They're called The Gold Split.
Gold Split. They're not. Tell them to get on the. Tell them to PM Pack. Where are we? There we are. Look at us.
Neat.
We're great.
We're great. We're very professional. Just
Can we give
shouting.
ourselves the stamp of improvement? Like a
We are one to watch. 19th for UR Penguin. This is a name that keeps popping up in Snap. Yeah, I don't think anybody knows that page exists.
I didn't know it existed until Amoeba sent me a link and was like, "Hey, look at this thing that we're on."
I was today years old when I learned that.
So UR Penguin's
I'm
been
today years old in general, so.
bloody
No, you're
boomers.
12.
Happy 12th birthday, Scoa.
We'd like to remind everyone, this is just what I do to make Amoeba feel old, is that I was like 3 months old whenever Colosseum came out, so.
Still a disgusting
Oh.
fact. How old was everybody else when Colosseum came out? I was at least 10.
What year was it?
Yeah, you're gonna run,
2003.
9.
I was 12.
God.
Like 6.
Was it? Do you say 2009?
No, wait, what?
2003.
Oh,
It
sorry.
came out 2003.
So I was 10. Eddie, you older than me.
I am.
I'm not the oldest one on the podcast. I'm not the oldest
So I'm
one.
so happy.
I'm so pleased.
If
Sorry,
Keys was
Edda.
here, he'd be older than me. He's older than me by like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
God, look at all these old boys.
Wait, it's November 21st, so I was just under 4 months old.
Oh my god.
That makes me cry.
I was almost 13.
I was so excited for Colosseum coming out, and you wouldn't have even understood it as a concept.
I wouldn't even have understood what a Pokemon was, dude.
God.
You don't even know what your hands are at that point.
The first game that came out after I was born was Pokemon Channel.
Oh. Garfield takes the overall prize for old boy in the chat. But I did know that one already. I knew Garfield was his PS.
Oh no,
PSR
JP
grandfather.
wins. JP was 14.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Find some wrinkle
literally
reducing.
2 messages above Garth's.
All right.
Why are we using Colosseum as like a
just because
measure of age?
just because he always mentions that Colosseum was like 3 months. He was 3 months old when Colosseum came out. It was just some conversation that I think we've had now about 4 podcasts in a row.
It's as essential to a PS podcast as a Ty Kevin tap.
And the 3 mainstays are Ty Kevin produces a new task for every podcast. I have to give at least 3 things a stamp of approval, and we have to mention that Sco is 12. The 38th of God, we're doing really well today. Really staying on track. 38th for Mrs. Candiria. 42nd for Otanami. And 73rd for 6-Bit Ferret, I think. Oh no. Yeah, there it is. I can't count. 16-Bit Ferret as well, but I really can't count. That was the Nintendo 64. WVC gets 14th for Shaman. Obviously, WVC, quite typically with Nintendo 64 games, WVC is overpowered, and then WVC is even worse. So Snap separates them out. 100% gets 10th for Dayman R, and 18th for Full Air. Still think that's one of the best names. Along with, was it Shoe Full of Bootleg Milk?
Glass of bootleg milk.
Glass of bootleg milk.
That's a great one. Haven't seen him pop up in a while.
That's literally my favourite name of everything.
Lesson for everybody, if you want to be remembered, a good way to start is a good username. There's a guy in ZFG's chat who's subbed to him, and his name is...
John Cena.
No, it's... funnily enough, it's... What is it? Something Cold Sneeze Austin. It's supposed to sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it's like Short Cold Sneeze Austin, and it just rolls off the tongue. It's amazing.
It's fabulous.
Anyway, Pokemon Stadium, second place for Angie. So Werster gets bopped down to third in this game, which is really surprising. Although his run is a year old, washed up. I'm gonna say that because Werster will like kill me. Yeah, so this was Silent Wolf took first place in it a couple of months ago. So Stadium 1 getting some love. And 18th for Static G703. Back to the main games, we have Gold. Glitchless, we've got Blake Turnatron in 21st. Again, I'm sure that's another name that's popped up fairly regularly. Yeah, Red and Gold. And then 56 for Loaf of Bread.
That's one of my favourite names.
Pretty solid name. Not quite funny enough.
No, but you see, Bread's amazing, so his name's amazing.
Bread's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the quote for the next month's intro screen. Bread is amazing. Why?
I'm just gonna quote on literally all of the dumb stuff I say.
NSC in Gold gets third place again for... Oh no, that's Jonathan Boom. Yeah, they're not the same people, are they? Anyway, third place for Jonathan Boom. God, I'm good at this. Nothing in any percent. NSC is a fairly new category there. Surprised me. Stadium 2, the only new PB there is Werster's full game. So we'll not rehash that.
His 80% run.
Ah,
And it was 20 hours, so is it even a speed run at that point?
exactly. How can you call it a speedrun if it takes you so long?
Or if nobody has ever done the same category.
It's, yeah. Final Fantasy runners are rolling in the graves if they were dead. Oh. We don't have anything to report for Crystal, but I do want to point out this has been 2 months now where Crystal has had no PBs. Really, like, feel kind of bad for Crystal. Not enough to run it, but a little bit bad.
Maybe a few more months, then you'll go to it.
No, it's got Radio Tower in it. I have no interest.
Dude, Radio
Craft
Tower's the
is
best
crying
part of the
now.
run.
Craft is dying
Just
inside
do
slowly.
any percent, then you can skip Radio Tower.
Oh, true. I might get it. Any percent might be a good shout. I don't own Crystal. It's the only main game I don't have a copy of.
Emulator. I don't know if it works
Oh.
on emulator.
You
I
can't
don't
do
know.
any percent on emulator.
Oh
I've
god
also-
damn it. I guess I'm never running
Okay.
any percent.
I'm also
You can
not
in
trash.
TAS.
Yeah.
Do it,
Thank you,
Tass.
Kevin. I'll just task it.
Oh, people are. That's a good shout, actually, Goff. Crystal Cinco Bingo has been massive for a long time.
That's not real Crystal, though.
It's real interesting, even if it's not real Crystal. If you've not seen, if somehow you've missed the wave of Cinco Bingo, Twitch it, Google it, don't know. I wouldn't know where you'd find it, but people are doing it all the time. It's a unique kind of combination of things. Bingo's always interesting, although it's not necessarily easy to execute in Pokemon.
I still think non-randomized bingo is better.
Dude, can't wait till we get the Let's Go randomize, or not, Let's Go Bingo. Can't wait for that. That'll be fun.
Let's go randomizers.
A
will
Let's
be-
Go randomizer would be cool though.
Shouts to Garth hooking us up with the news. There's a weekly race on the Random Mania Network, Saturday at 7 PM UTC. If you're interested in Cinco Bingo on Crystal. Check that out.
So what is that in a real people time zone?
I don't even know what UTC is. I've got to be honest.
No, I
Isn't it
It's
GMT?
I about to say,
Unix.
what
I think it is
Stands
just
for
GMT,
Unix.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Universal?
UTC, yes.
Ah,
That's
okay.
our time.
Isn't it Unix time?
I thought it was just Universal
Universal.
something.
Coordinated time.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be UCT then?
It's Coordinated Universal Time. That's what it's
Wouldn't
called.
that be cut?
But it's
Scythe-
called.
Scythe the
GTC.
used cut.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Garfield used cut.
Sorry, I made the dumb joke.
It's French? Oh, if it was French, that would be +1, wouldn't it?
No, he means the acronym.
No, yeah, but I'm
Times.
saying it's odd that it would be the acronym would be French when it's not French time zone.
Yeah, but it's the English time zone, which is the most important country in the world. So
So,
That's
like,
right.
seeing as we owned 90% of the rest of the world.
I was about to say is that why you got put out of the World Cup, but then I remembered I didn't even qualify.
We got
so-
that sick of the rest of you, mate, that we were even leaving the European Union. So look,
yeah,
don't
I know
even
that
bring
means
it.
we're safe from Article 13. Woo!
No, you guys, you're Northern Ireland. You guys are the most screwed. If you, like,
Dude, my county is the sticking point for Brexit right now.
I'm really loving the fact that it's like Mummy EU and Daddy UK are arguing over child Northern Ireland, and then there's some weird Uncle Regular Island somewhere else that's kind of not wanting to know.
Well,
Anyway.
this is a fun.
We're
Yeah,
having a
this
right
is a
fucking
great
time.
leaderboard roundup of Pokemon-related speedruns.
Scoa, would you like to talk about whoever this nerd is in 7th place on the Sapphire leaderboard?
Yeah, he's really bad because he died, but
Oh, where did you die? Timestamp.
Tate and Liza.
Oh, well, that's a classic, isn't it?
That's not even. That's just predictable.
It's almost not fair.
Oh, I just realized I missed the podcast last month, and I actually PB'd in Sapphire last month.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
We'll
Yeah.
have to go check Eddaket's PB as well.
I ran the game like twice.
It's
And
probably,
then Let's
How
Go
did I
came out,
even
so-
die?
probably a good choice.
It was a
You-
lot of fun. Let's Go came out, and it was better.
You comparing against Quay Laggins splits.
Yeah, have mine and Quay's up. Oh, I died by Lunatone. Cool. That's fine.
Oh, Carmine. That's a good sign.
Just
No,
crit
not
you.
whenever he like one-shots you, it's not.
No, I know. That's what I mean. You're using Surf and he bulks up. There it is.
why
Well,
didn't you just crit?
Why didn't you just get good?
And if I hadn't have died, that run might have actually been 3rd place.
Eddakett's PB from a month ago.
Yeah.
We're not biased.
That's
How-
one to watch, guys. I think he'll do more Sapphire.
You can
Yeah.
expect more Sapphire out of this man. How
I
was
don't
your
remember anything about the run.
run? Right. What was the
Your
point
brain
in clicking
has
on
been
it?
Consumed by let.
I apparently didn't die to Tate and Liza, so I'm confirmed better than Scoa.
It's true.
Damn it.
That's the only thing that matter. Pokemon channel, this is a podcast classic. No PBs, sort the fucking layout. God damn it. Pinball, this is also a classic. No PBs.
Make Amoeba happy and run that game.
Pinball's been dead for a bit. I haven't run it in a while.
I love how I've been complaining about every single podcast someone run it, but yet I still haven't just gotten a cartridge and ran it.
True. The SL Weed running channel would be good. Colosseum, obviously, this is Exarion's old PB from a day ago. Old news. Fake news. Now 333.
Outdated leaderboard.
Mods, do your jobs.
Just don't look at the Let's Go board then, because
Slash
1, 2, 3.
slash ban fat bean soup.
No. Don't be mean. No bully. What happened last time you bullied? Gym Freak's still in PTSD.
Wait, hold on. How do I time someone? I'm bad
Slash
at this.
timeout. How do I time out? What?
I was trying to be lazy and I thought it was just slash T or something. I don't know.
I beat
Okay, I'm a good moderator.
You're doing well. Colosseum, yes. So Smiley's also picks up 3rd place. Smiley's a good all-round runner. Seen him in a lot of games. I presume this will be for Alligator. Not. Balava, seeing as that's a very new run. Interesting image of a turkey, or whatever bird that is. Is that an emu? What the hell is that?
Where?
Looks like a.
That's gotta be
Yeah.
an emu or ostrich. Of some sort.
It's an emu.
I went with
I'm
turkey
calling
to
it
begin with, so I'm
emu.
not doing very well here. Oh, 9th. Oh no, we closed Colosseum. Not done. Retro Tato got 9th. So Retro will pop up in the Let's Go leaderboard in a bit as well. Fire Red Leaf Green. Fresh news from JP Zinam that Roush, while we were doing the podcast, apparently finished. I can't remember what time it was.
It's 207.
207.
Job. So
The
207.
first 207 on the leaderboard.
Bopped me! No! Damn it, I dropped an...
Time
Skip to
return to Fire Red Leaf
151.40 for
Green,
speedrunning's biggest choke.
Yeah. Oh, what did I do? I pushed the boulder
You
the wrong way.
messed up the boulders for the rare candy, I think.
Yeah, and then lost repel and everything. It was awful. So yeah, Roush picks up 8th overall. JP got himself 7th. That's to JP. The regular round 2 runner drops in 20%. Disgusting Squirtle runner, I would like to point out. Is anybody on the leaderboards with Charmander anymore other than...
Optimal Squirtle runner, you mean?
Still gross. Didn't sell your soul.
Wait, does Snorms not do Charmander?
Oh, of course he does. Snorm's
Yeah, I think
like that.
Storms in a Tyrant's time might be Charmander too.
Oh no, Snorm
Oh,
started doing Squirtle. We
I
started doing
literally
dual
clicked
runs.
on the first frame as a Squirtle, so...
Yeah. After it was really recent, but he started doing dual runs. So yeah, even the OG Charmander runner eventually sold out. I've also got written down that there was a round 2 PB. This may have been covered last month. It says 3rd of November, which is exactly when we did the podcast. I don't remember if we covered this or not. If we did, get a double. If we didn't, congratulations. Yeah, I'd still expect to see this come down. JP's mad on round 2.
Although he's gotten sucked into Let's Go as well, so.
True.
Yeah.
Let's Go is stealing everybody. You didn't get a PB for the last one and got mad, so you had to double up. Ah, you were about even then. You've settled out on 1 PB a podcast. Well done. Moving on to Emerald. Obviously the record from Exarion, the double record. 7th place for Crafted with the amoeba tie. Congratulations. I think we've already gone through that run. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to it?
I think I'd like to get like a 235 or 6.
Ooh, that put you top 3. I see you doing that, to be fair. You've been, because you were minus 5 minutes on that run that got bombed.
Yeah, I got past Tate and Liza 5 minutes ahead, but then died to Archie because there's one turn you can get crit on that fight and die, and all your slaves are dead from Tate and Liza, so you can't revive. And I was like, yeah, there's no way that will happen. I won't save because it's just one turn. You just have to not get crit.
So you got crit.
Yep.
Easy
And then
every
that
time.
happened again when I wasn't so far ahead a couple of days ago. Got crit on the same turn.
Reminder that fight used to be trivial. Obviously a lot slower, but
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought about doing the old strat, but you need a guard spec and another X special, and and so it's not good for money.
Fat Bean Zoop picks himself up at 14th. This guy has been grinding his way up this leaderboard. I believe he started off in pretty much last initially, if not right there. So with a 427, and in 4 months' time has dropped that time nearly 2 hours. It is nutty. 2 PBs this month with a 6-minute time save overall. Really interested to see where you go with this, Fat Bean, because I see you in chat. Hello. It's nice to see Emerald getting some love again. From Emerald, we have a PB in Dash. Rare one.
What?
Anybody know anything about Dash? Played it once.
I played it about
Was
once.
that the one where you have like little tokens that are attacking each other?
No, that's the one where you literally racing Pokemon.
Oh, you're literally running around. Okay.
And the only way to control it is just by flicking the stylus on the screen.
I want to run this game so bad. Oh my god.
I owned this game for, I think it was 35 minutes. And then literally went back to the shop and returned it because I thought it was terrible.
It's a natural speed run though. You have to go fast.
True.
Dude, and this category is 5 minutes long. This is perfect. I'm buying this game.
Shout
I
out
wonder
to
how much
Potato
it
Cam.
costs. Shout outs to eBay. Or,
I was literally about to check the exact same thing.
God, we just got 4 new Dash runners. Great.
Pokemon Dash.
Oh god, it's $12.
Is that it? That's not bad for a game.
Oh,
with
I've
Pokemon
just found it
stuff
for
to
£6.
23, 9.
Yeah, but we use
Okay.
real
okay.
money here, not Monopoly money.
All right, okay. Listen
To be honest, after Brexit, £12 is going to be about $12 anyway. So
to USD, right? In normal,
Amoeba, please.
that's $7.50 US.
he just keeps bringing it back. This is the one you want to check the price on. If anyone can pick up a copy of XD for less than like £40, genius.
Right, okay. Just a little side note on Dash. I went onto Amazon. Price £49. One
Oh.
left in stock.
That's just because they'll have second-hand sellers that will stick whatever price they want on. It's like the people on eBay that are selling stuff for like £100.
Yeah, but it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, you can arbitrage. It's basically an arbitrage problem. There's no sellers on Amazon, so.
There's one PB and XD, 8th for Seam. Oh boy, this is a name. See Mr. Hire? I'm gonna go with See Mr. Hire. From there we have Mystery Dungeon Red Blue. Second place for Mozzarella in the no quick saves. Oh, they've renamed the categories again. What's going on here? So,
Again?
again, yeah. So it's gone from no save and quit to no quick saves now. Mozzarella picks up second place with that VC advantage. So this is the one that doesn't, obviously it's no quick save, doesn't save in front of each set of stairs to manip each floor. This is the luck based one where you want double chestnut. 9th for Bretzy, apparently. Where is this? Oh, and no quick saves, yeah. And 16th for Cruel. The Cruel's been popping up all over the place recently. Not surprised to see them. Speaking of Cruel,
I was gonna say Cruel's been doing getting ready for a bunch of people are doing like a 100% series race where you have to catch every Pokemon in the series and you have to do it. But you can do it in whichever games you want. So like you can do every game from Gen 1 to 5, I think they're doing. And at some point you have to catch every Pokemon. So it's not in one sitting, like they're doing it over the course of a week or something.
how are you going to be alive for that long?
Yeah, I know. So he's been basically going from game to game, learning them. So he like popped up in Sapphire when I was doing Sapphire. He's popped up there. He's popped up here in Ranger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ranger gets Humis DS, the PMD Master, also pops up in Ranger with 4th place. Notably on the English version and a Wii VC. That Wii VC privilege showing itself again. 5th for Cruel again. That's the second time they've appeared. Diamond and Pearl only has the Japanese ones that we've already covered, so we will be skipping that for now. Nothing for Battle Rev. Gonna make Poke Hero cry. Nothing for Time Darkness, I don't believe. Nope.
No.
Or Ranger 2. Nothing for Platinum, apart from the Japanese record. We're all the way over to Explorers of Sky. Obviously, Humus DS's record was the Wonder Mails category. 10th for Tea Fresh Cuba, I think that. And I've got 18th for Rutrium. There's no way that's... Where is that? I don't know why that's there. That's not at all.
Have I done a really bad with the leaderboards?
No, I think that was me. I remember writing Rutrium. Where was that there?
Because I did everything, like, from...
I definitely remember right. We're just gonna pop his name in. Rutrium. This guy has a PB in something.
Oh, include emulator.
Ah.
No, I didn't turn on emulator. I was looking at it.
DSCMU.
Shown. There it is. Thank you. Thank you, Edda. 18th for Rutrium. I wonder how I saw that then. Because there's also 13th for Flaming Quilava on emulator. Oh, weird. Anyway, that was fun. Recruit 'em all also gets first for Humus DS with Wonder Mails. And first for Mozzarella Cheese without. 96-hour run. 52-hour run. Gross.
What?
Is it even a speed run at that point?
4 days. 48 seconds. Hold on, I'm just having to add that up. Yeah, that is exactly 4 days. Maths degree was worth it.
The pain?
OBS won't even let you stream for 4 days straight.
No, I think he has.
At 48 hours.
I think he has to sleep. Look at the layout and how half the screen is literally the catch counter. How many is that? Oh my god.
Is this segmented because it's so long?
Yes, there's day 5 is written next to the last part.
Yeah, so what
segmented by day.
Yeah, so it basically, I guess they'll leave the timer running overnight, which is why it took 96 hours. His final time of actual playing looks like it's 62 something, or wherever you are currently in the timer.
He played the game for 62 hours in the period of 4 days.
God.
Yep.
I believe this was one as well.
Jeez.
Like a Noob actually covered this in the last episode, because this Kecleon catches stupid silly billies because they're ridiculously powerful, so he basically has to hide in a wall and kill them off from there, and the recruit rate is silly. So I think it was Humus DS's run that he covered, so Mozzarella seems to have jumped in with this silly run as well. Different to see, I think 96 hours is pushing the realms of ridiculousness for a run's length. God damn. But, yeah. PMD runners are insane people. Pokemon Rumble has no PBs. Shouts to... God, what's his name? Shit. I was just going to reference Rubber Ducky Assassin. God, I feel really bad. I was like, oh damn, I remember this guy's name. Just forgot.
Wow.
No Heart Gold Soul Silver runs at all. I think that's only this month. I think there was PBs in the last month. It's not quite as quiet as Crystal. But it seems to be a fairly quiet speed game in general anyway. Bit of a high ceiling. Pokepark Wii gets 4 runs. Humus DS, the PMD legend, pops up again, second place. We also have 13th for Cinderdog, 16th for Jirachi, and 17th for Halcary. These are all... What's with the Mystery Dungeon runners and the crossover with Pokepark? Mozzarella, Hulk, Jirachi, and Humus DS are all... And Cobrel are
and
all
Hulk.
Mystery Dungeon runners. What is that about?
Has this game moved over to the realm of being unbuyable yet, or is that
You mean unbuyable?
with the shutting down of the store, the Wii store?
Oh, is it only a Wii store game?
I can't remember. There's some game where this.
Oh, is that's
That's the WiiWare one, I think.
yeah, the Mystery Dungeon WiiWare.
The Mystery Dungeon WiiWare that was like Japan exclusive or something.
Also still has no runners. I love this leaderboard. Any percent empty, there are no runs. Black White Japan.
Yes!
Japanese runner. Zircon. Oh, so that's another actual Japanese runner, not English person running Japanese. Also shoutouts to Potato Cam. On a DS Lite.
Wait, what?
Wow.
He's running on a DS Lite.
What a champion.
Isn't that the least optimal choice to make?
No, it's the same as a regular DS.
It just has a better display, I think.
Well, it
But
has a
worse
terrible
buttons.
D-pad.
Yeah, so the buttons are awful. That's cool.
I do love his splits though. Like,
That's a spreadsheet.
Siglemic.
Shouts to Siglemic.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. XY Japan. That's just the Ringo first place that we mentioned earlier. All these runs are at least 2 years ago, apart from Ringo, like 5 days. Ah, no, I clicked it. Now we have to wait for this page to load again. I almost got through the entire leaderboard without doing this. Right.
right now, grab your popcorn. We'll be here a while.
Yeah.
So there's
Strap
no
in,
runs
lads.
for this, right? So the podcast is finished.
So
Yeah.
before we start this, I was originally gonna be here and like list through the runs that are awaiting verification, but it looks like Wartab went through and accepted every single one of them while we
God
were
damn.
doing the podcast. The only run that's not accepted is Wartab has a new PB, so his time is better than the 334 that's listed here.
What's Wartab's PB?
331.39. So he moves up 2 slots.
Into,
11.
Verified though.
into
It
11.
could be cheated. We don't know yet.
Yeah, to be fair,
That's
Wartab's a questionable person.
I haven't submitted my new PB yet either. I have a 327.0. So
27. So Ty moves up to.
9.
Ooh. Now hold up. What 327? Because
327.02.
what was Wartab's?
Wartabs is a 331, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Sorry, yeah. Okay, I have no memory. Cool. So every one of these is
Goldfish.
new.
What?
Every single one. I like as well that the top 5 runs were all set in the last 2 days.
Mhm. Yeah, I can kind of
Yeah.
explain what's going on at the top of the leaderboard. If you want.
Why not?
Itataka has the 322. He got a 318 recently, so it says 322 on the video, but again, the Japanese community ends the timer usually by the end credits. So he actually has a 318 that's a different new run. He just this is not his most recent run.
Is this in Japanese language though?
No, it's
No.
the text is in English, so it's the Japanese release of the game, but it's the same game.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the reason that Uro basically is so far ahead of everybody else with the 316, you could probably get to the Itataka 318 range just by playing better and using a new route. But Uro has like basically perfect catches. He only has 5 breakouts in the entire run. Okay, so every 5 Pokemon he catches, one of them breaks out once, on average. So, and for like me playing, I might get a breakout like every. My average is somewhere between like 1.5 and 2 balls per Pokemon. So he saves several minutes on the top by just RNG with the catches. But also a bit of it is patience, because he waits often for a Pokemon to do the little animation where it tries to attack you before he does his first throw. So the first throw is more likely to get in the ball because it won't do that attacking motion multiple times in quick succession.
Like as well, you can see like the people that ran it initially, and you know, like Eddaket's time here in 12th is 13 days old now. But it was a
Yeah.
big time when it was first set.
I was gonna comment on that. It's like I haven't run any percent in over a week.
But it's nearly 2 weeks now. You and Keys
Yeah.
haven't touched it in 2 weeks. by the way.
That-
Etiquette, you're not allowed to PB anymore because you have the
Keys,
medium time.
The
He's
the
I
th-
believe has a 325.
yeah,
offline.
Keys has a 325. The 333 that I got was second place when I got it. If that
And he's now
sort of
never
puts it
allowed
into
to PB
perspective.
again.
It's like a Mega Evolution's 338 is now 16th. That was a record when he set
That
it.
was a record. Yeah, it was. There was one day where I got a 330. So the record was 343 by Keys. I, being on the East Coast, woke up before Keys. I did a run, got a 339. I think it was a 339.39. Then a bunch of people wanted to do a race. I got a 339.01 in the race. So I did 2 runs that day and got record on both of them. I went into Keys' chat afterward and Omega Evolution had a 3:38. Like I didn't even have a chance to tell Keys that I beat his time with a new record because Omega had already beaten it. So like, and I think Snorms also beat Keys' time or something like that. So like Keys went from having the record to 3rd place, and then I got record that day, started streaming the next day, and I was in 4th place because Snorms had also beaten the time, and like Keys had gotten the 3:27. So it was just like an absurd day where the time dropped by 20 minutes.
So one of the things I said before, and I'm going to really point out now that we're here, is the range of runners that it's brought in. Because like Oro is an all-round Pokemon runner and runner of other games as well. Shoutouts to World Ends With You and Eternal Sonata. One of the best Eternal Sonata runners ever. That's a really fun game. So Oro is just an all-round beast at a lot of games. And then Retro, well-established runner in Gen 4, Gen... Is it mostly Gen 4? He's run a few other gens as well.
Yeah, like
Platinum in Gen 4. Aito, big Japanese runner across a lot of later Japanese games, Pokemon games. Headstrong, brand new runner? Question mark?
Jack and Daxter runner.
Jack and there you go. So not
There
a
you go.
Pokemon runner, never touched a Pokemon Speed game, and is like 4th place in this game right now. Araya, big name runner for Gen 1 2 through 3. Snorm's big name runner for Gens 1 through 3. Big Cinco Bingo player. I know that much. Dahlia is True is a quieter runner for around Gen 3. So he's got a 9th place in Emerald. And then some fairly standard times, I'd say, for Gen 2 and 3. But then he's 7th place overall. Let's go. Pulse is a big name runner for a lot of Pokemon games. And then I think Camper is the first one. I think this is their... Oh, they run Final Fantasy. Like... PC Final Fantasy games, and I've suddenly jumped into Let's Go Pokemon on the Switch. And who's the other one that... Scoa, do you remember the other one that we said? I didn't recognise the name. And this was literally their first run.
No.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, it's even funny too, because like, yeah, you've got the people like Oro and Retro and myself and Keys who have done like traditional Pokemon runs, and then you've got like Uaj, or however you say that, down in 20 seconds. G runner.
Yes, it's only run TCG in a few other games, and he's just... Oh no, he's only run TCG. What the hell is that?
Ran a lot of TCG. Holy
yeah. Oh, he's
like one of the TCG runners.
He's like top 3 at the moment, and
he's the reason I muted the TCG chat.
He's one of the guys that's really routed out. I think it was it Thurler that was one of these people? Is it just brand new to speedrunning? Like this is literally their first run.
Not Thurler.
There it is, Pastafaria.
As it says, Pastafaria.
So top 20 out of 35 in this new game. You know, up there with names like who's he around? Ty Kevin, 2 places ahead of Ty Kevin. No,
for now. I mean, okay. So we talked about Camper. Camper is 3:27.13. I'm only 11 seconds ahead of him, and he's never done a Pokemon speedrun before. Like that's how insane this leaderboard is.
It's like Pastafaria's literally never done a speedrun before. 13 days ago was their first speedrun ever. Like this is such a unique leaderboard right now. You got
it's just so approachable as a game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Because you can actually record it and you don't need to get oddly specific captures for like one device only.
So we've got 37 times on this leaderboard.
That's gone up by 2 people since we started the podcast.
Yes.
It was 35 when we started the podcast, and now it's 37. So yeah, this is the original first run. Gamester's 7-hour run was the first one to go up. So that's how...
Are we going to look at the other categories quick?
Oh yeah, sure. So any %2 controller. Pulse effects, obviously, we looked at this one earlier. The record holder. The regular Ginny, I don't believe is on the any % leaderboard. So looking to... That is an anime background, holy hell. Damn.
Gym Freak will be proud.
I'm proud. Fuck Gym Freak. And I don't think I don't even know how you pronounce that. Lampchen?
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 Yeah.
Oh, brand new runner. There you go. So literally the first speedrun was done a day ago. This is bringing in some people. Co-op.
Yeah, and
Mama.
there's a co-op one. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so the Toon Girl Imprisoned Shadows on the any percent leaderboard. So that's a co-op run there. 6-hour co-op run with Captain Dolphin and an unregistered youth. Hello, Cosmic Winner 45. So this game has some potential. Jim Freak has boldly put in caps that Headstrong has Love Live background. Oh, correct. I don't really know what Love Live is, to be honest.
It's an anime.
Really?
The interesting thing about the 2-controller run or category is when the game first came out, like leading up to when the game actually came out in all time zones, because people were streaming it obviously in Australia. Almost the entire PSR Discord, like the channel for Let's Go, was talking about how much 2 controllers was going to be like the fastest way to do it, and like everyone was focusing all these 2-controller strats, and nobody actually ran it. Pulse was the only one who actually put in the work for 2-controller.
I wouldn't be surprised over time if it becomes the more popular run, because it looks like it has more interesting variation.
Yeah, I agree with that. I personally, I'm not a huge fan of 2-controller. Like, I like the idea of 1-controller better. I think eventually what I'll do is I'll like do a 1-controller run where I use the support trainer for Archer, and then that would be it. And then I will submit it on the 2-controller run. But yeah, it definitely will, I think, pick up some popularity.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem with the category, is that we've basically realized that in large part because we're selling so many Pokeballs and things to get Great Balls early, we don't have so much utility out of throwing 2 Great Balls, right? We'll run out of Great Balls too quickly if we're constantly throwing 2 Great Balls to catch things.
Just buy a shitload of Pokeball.
And, well, we're selling Pokeballs to get Great Balls.
Nah, don't do that.
Just get lucky.
But then,
let's get good.
On top of that, though, there's also this problem of sending in a second Pokemon into battle is only useful in like 1 or 2 fights as far as we know so far. So the utility that it would have is there's not so much of a routing aspect to it that you would hope, where you got this crazy coming in and out over and over again.
I mean, it'd be useful in basically any fight that you're doing more than 1 X item. So like a lot of the end game fights, like we saw in Pulse's run, the Agatha fight was, you know, send out the support trainer, you can kill Arbok turn 1 instead of having to, you know, set up for 3 turns or whatever it is. And so like you can do that throughout a lot of the run. I can really imagine the whole Rock Tunnel into Rocket Hideout segment is going to be a lot better for 2-controller, because you can do things like use an X special attack on the same turn you use Glitzy Glow against Archer's Wheezing.
Right.
And then X speed the second turn and you're done, where normally you have to, you know, use Glitzy Glow, use your X items, heal or whatever, and then hope you don't get poisoned, and it's a whole ordeal.
Yeah, I do imagine that it'll be there's more we can route with it for sure. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's very under-researched.
Be very interested. I really want to see what this leaderboard's going to look like in a month's time. And I think it could be.
We should take a screenshot and compare it next month.
Oh my goodness!
All right, done. Screenshot.
So, Amoeba, when are Amoeba UK Let's Go run?
When I can afford a Switch and the capture card, since I own none of them.
We're all talking about how accessible it is, and then it's like,
I don't have 250 quid to throw on a Switch, and I don't have an HDMI cap. It's accessible for streamers, I think, because that stuff is readily available. Like, it's a console that's not just used for this, you know. The awkwardness of like.
You're gonna buy one of them anyway.
Yeah. The awkwardness of streaming like Gen 3 games is who the fuck would actually own a Game Boy player outside of needing it for speedruns? Like,
me.
No one. All right.
It was free with the GameCube.
All right, fair enough. Yes, JP, I actually need a $599 US donation. Absolutely.
There's also like a lot of the technical limitations. You don't necessarily need to use like GBI. You do proper capture with S-Video or HDMI mod, but There's all those little things people get confused about when people start talking about them, and it probably throws a lot of people off of doing older runs.
True. DS capture's not too bad, but the actual DS capture is a bit difficult to get.
It's
also-
very, it's kind of exclusive.
And yet Crafted has 3.
Yeah, somehow. Don't know how that happened.
Oh, is that 3 DS captures?
Yeah.
Animal. Bloody hell. Right, I think that's actually somehow the end of it. We've overrun the normal time by about an hour. But I will blame technical difficulties, amongst other things.
Blame Keizaron.
Blame Keizaron, true. So I would like to say a special thank you, Eddaket, for coming and doing the Let's Go segment especially.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, thank you as well to Keizaron. I'm really sorry it ended up being about 15 minutes. Because the guy had to run and technical difficulties screwed us. But hopefully we can have him back on another one. And he can complain at us for mistakes. Thank you, Crafted and Scoa, as ever, for joining me. And thank you, everybody, for watching. This will be up on YouTube as soon as I can get it up. Please join Discord, watch on YouTube, comment. Any feedback is great. And thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.